My child, stop everything. I need your full attention now. This isn't a suggestion. This is a divine interruption. What I'm about to say will confront what's been haunting you, unlock what's been hidden from you, and release what's been waiting for you. This is urgent. It's time to tell you everything. I've watched you cry for answers, beg for clarity, and carry silent pain that no one else sees. And now, heaven has cleared the room so I can speak directly to you. No distractions, no delay. Don't scroll. Don't pause. Don't click away. This word is your lifeline. It holds revelation, instruction, correction, and restoration. Watch it to the very last second, because what I'm releasing in the final moments will be the key that unlocks it all. This isn't just a video, it's your moment of divine appointment. I waited for this. So now, you must not miss it. My beloved child, hush your heart and lean in. This is not just another gentle nudge or soft whisper of encouragement. This is a divine summons, an echo sent from eternity, breaking into your timeline with urgency carved into every word. I have held this moment in the palm of my hand, waiting until the atmosphere around you quieted just enough, waiting until the ache in your soul made room for revelation. I am not speaking in shadows today. I'm not dressing my voice in symbols or hiding meaning between lines. I am pulling back the veil with the weight of my presence, because what I have to say cannot wait another second. Heaven has stood still for this declaration. The angels are silent. The wind has paused its course. The heavens have leaned low. I need you to know that what I am revealing now is not a suggestion, and it's not a sweet encouragement to tuck away. This is a spiritual turning point. This is me drawing a line in the sand of your journey and saying, from this moment on, you will never walk blind again. I am not whispering simply to comfort you. I am whispering to waken you. There is an urgency in my tone because what I have to say now has the power to break off years of confusion, silence, delay, and the subtle lies that have wrapped themselves around your identity like chains pretending to be truth. You've been sensing this, haven't you? The tight pull in your spirit that won't let you rest. The holy discomfort in your chest that rises in quiet moments. That was not anxiety. That was me. That was my voice calling to the deeper parts of you that religion couldn't reach, that trauma tried to silence, that fear tried to bury. I've been whispering in dreams, in pauses, in moments when your breath caught and you didn't know why. I've been pressing my truth against the walls of your mind, gently, relentlessly, faithfully, until you were finally ready to stop running and listen. And now that I have your attention, I won't speak in fragments. I won't leave you piecing things together like some mystery you're meant to figure out on your own. No, child. I'm telling you everything. The time for riddles has passed. I'm not hiding. I'm not distant. I'm not waiting for you to get it all together. I'm here, fully, fiercely, tenderly, to deliver what has been burning on my heart for you since before you took your first breath. This revelation isn't just about information. It's about restoration. It's about identity. It's about setting things in order that the enemy tried to unravel. It's about confirming what your spirit has long suspected, that I have always been near, that I have always had a plan, and that everything is about to shift because this message is not casual. This is your commissioning. This is the unlocking. This is the beginning of the unveiling I have prepared since the foundations of the earth. Listen now, because what comes next will not just change your day, it will change your destiny. My beloved, let me settle something in your heart right now. Something that has been lingering like a slow ache beneath your smiles, beneath your daily motion, beneath your weary yeses. You've asked me more questions in the dark than you've ever dared to speak in the light. You've whispered them into pillows drenched in tears. You've carried them in your chest like quiet thunder. God, do you hear me? Why does it still hurt? Yet I miss you. Have you forgotten what you promised? You asked not as a skeptic, but as a soldier who stayed at their post far longer than expected, as a child whose hands were still open long after others had closed theirs. And I want you to hear this, really hear it. I recorded every word. Not a single syllable was lost in the wind. Not a single sigh went unnoticed. Not a single moment when your lips trembled from asking questions you were too tired to frame. Not one of those was discarded. I, the God of galaxies, the architect of eternity, paused to hear you. The echo of your cries didn't bounce back into emptiness. They were absorbed into my heart. I did not ignore you. I engraved you. You see, my child, I am not like people who listen only when it's convenient. I am not like the crowd who claps only when your faith is loud. I am the Father who leans in when your voice is weakest. I draw near when others draw back. I listen not just to your words but to the weight behind them. I heard what you didn't know how to say. I felt the weight of why, laced inside your every help me. I knew the ache of how long, wrapped inside your I trust you anyway. You've mistaken my silence for absence, but oh, if you only knew how near I've been. If only you could hear the way heaven has echoed your name, not with pity, but with power. The angels didn't wince at your struggle, they honored it. Your faith in the middle of confusion was louder than the praise of 1,000 voices singing from the mountaintop. You didn't need perfect words. You needed presence. And you have always had mine. When you felt like your prayers hit the ceiling, I want you to know I was on the floor, sitting beside you. So let me answer you now with no delay, no deflection, no distant symbolism. You asked, do you hear me? And I say, I heard you the first time. You asked, why does it still hurt? And I respond, because I'm still healing what was never meant to break you, but has been shaping you. You asked, did I miss you? No, child. I've been walking beside you, even through the fog. And the deepest question of all, the one you were almost too afraid to voice, have you forgotten me? Never. Not for a millisecond. Your name is etched into my very being, written on the palm of my hand. I remember every moment, not just the mountain moments, but the nights you survived on nothing but breath and brokenness. You feared that your questions might disqualify you, but they didn't. They drew me closer. You didn't push me away with your doubt. You pulled me in with your honesty. And now, I am not just answering you with comfort. I'm responding with movement. The answers that felt delayed are arriving like lightning now, not trickling, not crawling, but crashing through the clouds that once looked silent. I'm not just responding, I'm revealing. And what I reveal next will heal more than you even knew was hurting. Let's go deeper, beloved. The questions you thought were holding you back were actually bringing you forward. They made space. They softened the soil. They taught your heart to long for truth that doesn't come from surface promises. Your ache shaped your capacity. That's why I didn't rush to answer too soon. I wasn't ignoring you. I was preserving you. Good news before its time becomes another burden. So I held back until I could pour it without it crushing you. And now, my child, your soul has made space wide enough to receive. And now, I am responding not just with explanation, but elevation. The questions you carried didn't cancel your destiny, they prepared it. And that's why you're not just about to get answers. You're about to become one. You will walk into places carrying clarity others have cried out for, And it will come from your tears, not textbooks. It will come from your surrender, not your striving. So rest, beloved. The questions didn't fail you. They formed you. And I am the God who heard everyone. My child, I need you to feel this, not just hear it, but feel it in the deepest chambers of your soul. I never left. Not once. My silence was not abandonment. It was alignment. You cried out in seasons when the heavens felt locked, when my voice felt far, when the sky seemed stone cold and unmoved. But even then, even when your prayers went out like paper boats on stormy waters, I was there. I wasn't pacing above the clouds, unsure of what to do. I wasn't distracted, disinterested, or disoriented. I was invested. I was enthroned in your silence, working in realms you couldn't see, setting divine intersections in motion with precision only eternity can manage. You thought I was absent because you didn't hear me. But you misunderstood my methods. Just because I didn't speak doesn't mean I didn't move. Sometimes, the most powerful shifts in your life happen under the hush of heaven. Seeds don't shout when they grow, but their roots break open the ground in silence. Mountains don't announce when they are forming, but layer by layer, they rise until one day, they tower. That's what I was doing in you. I was constructing something so holy, so heavy with glory, that I had to cloak it in stillness so no voice, not even your own, could interfere. My silence was sacred cover. My quiet was a blanket of divine protection. I wasn't punishing you. I was preserving you. I was shielding you from answers too small for your calling. I was delaying lesser victories to deliver what would last. My child, don't confuse stillness with stagnation. I was never still. I was strategic. Let me tell you what was happening when you thought nothing was happening. I was speaking to hearts on your behalf, preparing conversations, shifting alliances, revealing motives. I was protecting you from doors you were about to knock on, doors that looked like opportunity, but hid destruction. I was aligning timelines. I was removing options you didn't yet know would kill your momentum. I was softening your heart, refining your discernment, strengthening your spiritual muscles in ways noise never could. I was answering your prayers in dimensions you had no vocabulary for. That's why I didn't speak out loud, because I was embedding answers into your DNA. I wasn't just talking. I was transforming. And now that the silence has served its purpose, I am speaking again. And when I speak this time, it won't sound like suggestion. It will sound like thunder wrapped in tenderness. So don't resent the silence, child. Reverence it. Because the next time the stillness comes, you'll no longer fear abandonment. You'll recognize preparation. You'll know the hush of heaven means a holy storm is about to be released, a storm of answers, alignment, and anointing. My voice is not a trickle anymore. It is a trumpet. And you, my beloved, are standing in the blast zone of a breakthrough that was birthed in silence. The quiet wasn't your ending. It was the incubation of everything I'm now ready to reveal. So lift your eyes. The silence is breaking. The sound of my voice is rushing in like floodwater. And every place that felt empty is about to echo with purpose. My beloved, how long have you stood at the window of heaven, pressing your heart against the glass of unanswered prayers, whispering, God, just tell me the truth? You didn't ask from arrogance. You weren't trying to control the story. You were aching for clarity in a season where confusion wrapped around your spirit like a fog that refused to lift. You didn't need flattery. You needed foundation. You weren't chasing comfort, you were crying out for confirmation. And I, the author of all truth, the voice that cuts through chaos, heard every syllable. I didn't ignore your cry. I stored it. I wrapped it in fire and waited until the exact second your soul was strong enough to carry what would once have crushed you. And now, child, now, the moment has come. The truth you begged for is breaking through. Not in riddles, not in whispers, but in clarity sharper than any sword and kinder than any balm. What you're about to receive won't just explain the past, it will reframe it. What I reveal now will heal the wounds caused not just by what happened but by what you thought it meant. I know how the silence distorted the story. I know how long you've wrestled with shadows, replaying moments that never resolved. You wondered why doors slammed when your heart was wide open, why people disappeared after promises, why the ground trembled under your feet when you were doing your best to obey. And somewhere along the way, the question shifted from why did that happen to what's wrong with me. But hear me now, with heaven as my witness, with angels leaning in to listen. There was never anything wrong with you. You weren't too much. You weren't too late. You weren't broken beyond repair. The enemy twisted the timeline to make it look like your identity was the issue. But I'm writing that lie today with my voice. You weren't delayed because you failed. You were delayed because I was protecting the purity of your calling. I kept you hidden so no one could mislabel what I was molding. I allowed rejection because it rerouted you out of relationships that would have warped your purpose. I allowed silence because I was shielding you from cheap affirmations that would have compromised your roots. And now, the truth is here, raw and real and ready to restore everything your confusion tried to kill. Let me be clear, this truth isn't the kind you dissect with intellect. It's the kind that revives you. It won't just settle debates in your mind. It will shatter ceilings in your spirit. I'm not just revealing what happened. I'm revealing why you're still here. You should have crumbled. You should have quit. But grace carried you in silence. And now, truth will launch you with thunder. The truth is, child, you've always been mine. Not once did I take my eyes off you. Not once did I flinch at your questions. I love you through every accusation you spoke through tears. And now I'm answering, not because you finally earned it, but because the hour has come. The truth you begged for was never withheld to punish you. It was preserved to protect you. And now, it's time. Watch what I do with the questions that almost unraveled you. I will take every why and write wisdom. I will turn every confusion into confirmation. And I will mark your life with clarity so sharp that every lie you ever believed will dissolve in the presence of my voice. So lean in, child. Don't resist me now. The weight of this truth is holy, but it won't crush you. It will crown you. And those who once doubted you, who once misread your silence's surrender, will have to stand in awe as I unveil what I was building in you all along. They saw delay. I saw divine design. And now you'll see it too. Because when I tell the truth, it doesn't just inform, it transforms. My precious one, let me tell you a secret, one that will make sense of years that felt wasted, seasons that looked silent, and prayers that seemed unanswered. I waited. Not because I forgot. Not because I changed my mind. I waited because you matter that much to me. I waited until the layers of distraction began to peel away. I waited until the echoes of false expectations grew quiet enough for my whisper to reach you again. I waited because what I've been storing for you requires more than a desire. It demands depth. I wasn't punishing you with pause. I was protecting you with preparation. And even though it didn't feel like love in the moment, it was the deepest kind of love. The kind that says, I will not give you what you're praying for until you're strong enough to carry it without it crushing you. You don't give a child a sword until they've learned to wield it with wisdom. And what I am releasing into your hands now is weighty, not in burden, but in glory. It will open doors, shift atmospheres, break chains, not just for you, but through you. And that's why I waited. I watched how you responded to delay. I watched how you worshipped through what felt like abandonment. I watched how you stayed faithful in rooms where you were overlooked, how you kept building when no one noticed, how you chose honor over revenge, humility over performance. I saw every trembling yes, every invisible sacrifice, every seed sown in soil that looked too dry to bloom. And I said to heaven, now they're ready. You see, I wasn't waiting on circumstances to change. I was waiting on you to see yourself the way I've always seen you, called, chosen, consecrated, capable. Do you understand, child? I couldn't release this before because the version of you that existed back then would have misinterpreted the blessing. You would have thought it came from man. You would have given credit to the platform, the connection, the strategy. But not now. And now, when I release it, you'll know it was me all along. You'll know that what's coming next isn't earned. It's entrusted. You'll carry it like an ambassador, not an addict. You'll steward it like a river, not a reservoir. You'll know that this moment isn't just about you receiving something. It's about you becoming someone. Someone who can carry fire without burning out. Someone who can lead without performing. Someone who can stay hidden without losing heart. That's what I've been building in the wait. And now, child, now I see it. You're ready. So don't apologize for the timing. Don't shrink when it comes quickly. This is not late. This is not delayed. This is precisely timed. Heaven doesn't miss appointments. I have orchestrated every second, synchronized every step, aligned every atmosphere for this release. And you don't have to force it. You don't have to fabricate it. You don't have to manipulate anything into motion. Just be present. Just keep your spirit open and your eyes lifted. What's coming will find you. It already has your name on it. And it's not just a door opening. It's a scroll unrolling. What I've written is ready to be read aloud, and you, child, are the living testimony of what happens when someone stays faithful in the fog. You are proof that waiting doesn't weaken the promise. It fortifies the vessel. And now, because you waited with me, I release what was waiting for you. My beloved, let me speak directly into that part of you that has secretly wondered if somehow the chaos was your doing. If the unanswered questions, the shifting seasons, the inner turbulence were a result of you missing me. I want to clear this once and for all. The confusion you walked through was never your fault. You weren't disobedient. You weren't distant. You weren't spiritually deaf. The fog wasn't a punishment, it was a passage. The pressure wasn't proof of failure, it was proof of formation. You have been under a divine recalibration. What looked like misdirection was actually my hand redirecting you with purpose and precision even when your mind couldn't comprehend it. You cried out, God, why does this make no sense? And I heard you. Not only did I hear you, I was there, in the confusion, in the questions, in the long nights when logic failed and your soul whispered, did I do something wrong? Let me say this again with holy weight. You did not do anything wrong. You were walking through realms of warfare that had nothing to do with your performance and everything to do with your position in me. The enemy wasn't attacking your progress. He was attacking your perception. Because if he could make you believe that the fog meant failure, then he could trick you into forfeiting what was forming. But you didn't forfeit it. You stayed. You kept walking. You prayed through clenched teeth and trembling hope. You worshipped in uncertainty. And every time you lifted your voice, even when it felt like it echoed into nothing, heaven responded with thunder. You were not walking in circles, you were walking through layers. Every step was forward, even when the road looked like it folded into itself. I want you to know this. The confusion was not evidence of disconnection. It was a cocoon. And now, child, the wings are forming. The clarity is coming. The veil is lifting. And what was once clouded will become crystalline. Not because you figured it out, but because I am now unveiling what was always mine to reveal. You didn't create the storm, but you survived it. And now, I'm placing a fresh lens over your eyes. Where there was once blur, there will be boldness. Where there was once distortion, there will be divine understanding. And when you look back, you won't see confusion anymore. You'll see construction. I was building a discernment in you that could not come through clarity alone. I let the silence linger so your spirit could be trained to hear my voice, not just the voice of opinion, emotion, or even your own reasoning. I have been sharpening your inner hearing. And now, you will be able to tell the difference between noise and knowing. You will walk into rooms where others see fog, and you'll see strategy. You'll stand in moments that once would have unraveled you and move with confidence because what once confused you has now been turned into a compass. So breathe, my child. I'm healing even the shame you didn't know you carried, the kind that came from years of second-guessing your spiritual sensitivity. You weren't lost. You were learning. You weren't being punished. You were being positioned. And now, I will use the very confusion that haunted you as a bridge into the clarity others are crying out for. Your pain was prophetic. Your questions were sacred. Your endurance was eternal. You've proven that you didn't just love me for the answers. You loved me enough to stay in the unknown. And that kind of love, child, is rare. That kind of love is holy. And that's why what I'm about to release over your life won't come in fragments. It will come in floods. So get ready. The fog is lifting. And you're going to see why it had to fall in the first place. My child, now that your heart is still enough to receive it, let me tell you a truth that will heal timelines you thought were wasted. The delays were never without design. You've lived through stretches of time that felt like pauses with no explanation. Seasons where it seemed like heaven had slowed to a crawl while your needs grew louder and your hopes grew tired. And somewhere in those long silences, the thought crept in like a whisper wearing worry's clothing. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe the promise passed me by. But hear me now with a thunderous tenderness. Nothing I've written for your life has expired. Not one word has withered. Not one promise has lost its pulse. I am the God who doesn't work in panic but in perfect placement. And the delays weren't divine indifference. They were divine intricacy. You see, child, delay in my hands is never denial. It is divine choreography, a strategic slowdown meant to prevent premature exposure and spiritual collapse. I didn't stall the blessing to torment you. I postponed the release so that the weight of the glory would not crush the spine of your spirit. I wasn't watching the clock. I was watching your capacity. I didn't hold back the promise to punish you. I held it back so that when it came, it would not only bless you but sustain you. What you called delay, I called depth. What you called a closed door, I called a customized entrance still under construction. I didn't forget. I was fortifying. I was putting pillars beneath the places you didn't even know would carry nations, souls, legacies. What you thought was a detour was actually me detangling your destiny from distractions that would have derailed it. Let me show you the blueprint. Do you remember the job you did get? The relationship that ended suddenly? The opportunity that dissolved without warning? What you call disappointment, I call divine rerouting. I was steering you away from premature platforms built on sand, and guiding you toward the rock-solid foundations of eternal impact. I dismantled alignments that looked promising on the outside but hid agendas that would have compromised the purity of your calling. You didn't fail. I shielded you. And yes, it took longer than you hoped. But I wasn't looking at your timeline. I was working from eternity's table. The delay wasn't me forgetting you. It was me forming you. Because what I'm about to place in your hands carries a weight you wouldn't have survived if I gave it to the previous version of you. And now, beloved, the design is almost complete. The final stitches are being woven. The scaffolding is coming down. What I've been crafting in secret will soon be revealed in splendor. And when it does, you will not say I made this happen. You will say, only God. That's why it had to be delayed. So no one could steal the credit. So no one could question the origin. This next chapter will not be man-made. It will be miracle-marked. And everything that felt held back will be released without restraint. You waited. You wept. You wondered. But now, you will witness. And it will be worth every second. My beloved child, let me wrap you in a revelation that will alter how you see every moment leading to this one. Heaven, yes, heaven, has stood still for you. I didn't send this message in passing. I didn't slip this truth into your life like a footnote. No, I've silenced angelic assignments, held back the roaring wings of cherubim, and paused the flow of other decrees just to bring this one to you. This is not just a message. This is a moment, a divine intersection, where the eternal and the intimate collide. I need you to know how significant your story is to me. I need you to understand the magnitude of this precise second in time. You are not an afterthought. You are not a side character in someone else's narrative. You are the divine focal point of a heavenly unveiling that could not begin until your spirit opened to receive it. Can you feel it? The stillness that surrounds you now is not silence. It is sacred weight. It's the hush that falls in the throne room when your name is spoken. It's the quiet reverence that echoes through the halls of heaven when the Father stands and commands all creation to watch as you step into fulfillment. Don't minimize this. Don't rationalize it away. The urgency in your heart, the tears forming behind your eyes, the trembling in your chest, that's not emotion alone. That is evidence. Evidence that the curtain is pulling back. That the time has finally aligned. That everything heaven has been holding is now pressing against your timeline like a flood against a dam. And child, that dam is breaking. Not with chaos, not with glads, but with divine precision. Everything I've promised, every word, every whisper, every sigh soaked in hope, is about to manifest. Not slowly, not someday. Now, you see, when I said heaven stood still, I meant that I called all of eternity to attention for the unveiling of this chapter. Because what you're about to receive doesn't just change your life, it will ripple into generations. I've waited to deliver this word until the weight of it wouldn't crush you, but crown you. The stillness of heaven was not hesitation, it was honor. I was standing, watching, waiting for the moment when you'd lean in far enough to hear the truth that I never stopped writing your story. I simply paused the reveal so that your spirit could grow strong enough to carry what's coming. My child, if you only knew how many things were rearranged for this encounter. The atmosphere, the timing, the voices, the very ground beneath you, all were synchronized for this whisper wrapped in wonder. So what do you do with a moment like this? You receive it, not with striving, not with suspicion, with surrender. You let the hush of heaven become the hammer that breaks every lie that said you were forgotten. You let the silence of angels become the sound of significance ringing in your soul. You are not behind schedule. You are in the bullseye of divine timing. Heaven has not forgotten you. It's been waiting to reveal you. And now the unveiling begins. What was paused is proceeding. What was held is being handed over. And what was whispered in the stillness will be shouted in the breakthrough. This moment matters. Because it's not just about what you're receiving. It's about what all of heaven is watching you carry next. Now listen closely, my child, because this next truth will reframe everything that ever tried to break you. That pressure, a heaviness, that relentless warfare that felt custom-made to your weakness. It wasn't proof that you were failing, it was proof that you were favored. Hell doesn't fight empty vessels. Demonic resistance doesn't surround wasted potential. The darkness that circled your life wasn't random. It was reactive. It was hell's response to what I had placed within you. And while you cried, "Why is this happening to me?" I was declaring over you, because I've marked you for something greater than you can yet comprehend. The enemy saw your destiny before you even did. He saw your alignment coming. He heard the rustle of the scrolls I've written over your life. He recognized the sound of heaven's approach in your direction, and so he panicked. That's why the battles intensified. That's why the warfare was so personal. Because what was coming out of you would become a threat to what's been hiding around you. You were never under attack because of who you were, but because of who you were becoming. The attacks were not a sign that I left you. They were a sign that hell couldn't stop what I was birthing in you. And though the battles left bruises, child, they also revealed something even more powerful, your resilience. You thought you were weak, but you kept showing up. You thought you had nothing left, but you stayed when it would have been easier to walk away. You carried pain and promise in the same hands. You smiled while bleeding. You served while aching. You loved while wondering if love would ever return. And I saw it all. Not one moment went unrecorded. Not one breath of obedience went unnoticed. The enemy wanted you to interpret the warfare as abandonment. But I'm showing you now, it was affirmation. You see, the fire didn't prove your failure. It proved your fireproofing. I let you walk through things that would have destroyed others because I was proving that what I placed inside you was not flammable. It was forged. You don't just carry calling, you carry capacity. And now, what once made you question your value will become the very evidence of your anointing. You didn't survive for survival's sake. You survived because I am sending you back into places where others still suffer, and your scars will speak. You will become a living contradiction, wounded but wise, bruised but blazing, marked by warfare but moving in wonders. You are not weak, you are weaponized. And every demon that tried to break you will now see you rise with authority purchased in secret battles they never expected you to win. So, hear me. The warfare was not a waste. It was a witness. And now, I'm shifting you from being a target to being a testimony. The very things that tried to silence you will become the stages where my glory is revealed through you. I didn't let the battle destroy you because the battle was never the end. It was the evidence. The resistance was real, but the revelation is greater. And now, I will redeem every drop of pain. What tried to kill you will kneel before you as I raise you into places you never dared to dream again. This isn't just your comeback. This is my covenant. And it will not fail. My beloved child, come closer, closer still, because this is not something I'm declaring to the crowd. This is personal. This is private honor for private obedience. You passed a test few people even knew you were taking. While others applauded external achievements, while they cheered for things that sparkled in public, I was watching what no one else could see. I was looking into the hidden corners of your character, the quiet depths of your decisions, the trembling yes you gave me when no spotlight lit the moment. You could have walked away. You could have given in. You could have pretended. But instead, you stood. You stayed. You surrendered. And I call that holy. The applause of men may have missed you, but heaven stood in silent awe as you chose obedience over optics, faith over fear, and truth over convenience. I saw you when your heart broke, but you refused to harden it. I saw you when you were overlooked, but you still served with excellence. I saw you when the very ones you poured into turned cold, and yet you kept pouring, not out of obligation, but out of overflowing love for me. I was watching when no one else was watching. And while the world looked for performance, I looked for purity. While others measured results, I measured resilience. You didn't just survive the test, you passed it with distinction. Because you stayed true to me when it would have been easier to bow to bitterness. You stayed soft in the fire. You held onto my hand, even when your fingers trembled and the grip of despair tried to pull you away. Let me say this plainly. You passed what others failed not because you were stronger, but because you stayed surrendered. That's what I reward. That's what I honor. That's what I crown. You didn't fake it, you face it. You didn't manipulate outcomes, you waited on me. You didn't retaliate, you released. These are not small things. These are the tests that shape eternity. And now, the reward will match the price. I'm about to bless you in ways that seem disproportionate to what people think you endured. But I know the cost. I know the weight you carried in silence. I know the crushing moments you smiled through. I know how many nights you cried, God, I trust you, even when your world was unraveling thread by thread. And I say to you now, well done. This moment, this season, this shift, it's not random. It's not sudden. It's a response. A response to what I saw when others saw nothing. A response to the sacred choices made behind closed doors. And hear me, child. No test passed in private goes unrewarded in heaven. What's coming to you now is not luck. It's not coincidence. It's not karma. It is covenant. And I do not break covenant. So prepare for honor without hype, promotion without performance, reward without rivalry. I'm elevating you not because you demanded it, but because you endured without needing it. The test was real. The cost was high. But the reward is divine. And it begins now. My beloved, take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let the weight that has been pressing against your soul finally lift. Because I need you to hear me with every fiber of your being. You didn't make it up. You didn't exaggerate the pain. You didn't overreact to the silence. You didn't imagine the warfare. You survived it. You went through it. You walked through the fire, not as a daydream, but as a living, breathing child of God being refined in real time. I know how many times you second-guessed yourself. How often you replayed scenes in your mind, wondering, was it really that bad? Was I too sensitive? Maybe I misunderstood. But hear me now. You weren't too sensitive. You were spiritually under siege. What you went through wasn't a season of emotional discomfort. It was a strategic strike against your soul. The pressure, the confusion, the isolation, the betrayal, it was layered, relentless, almost surgical. Hell doesn't play fair, and it certainly doesn't play light. You were targeted because you are treasured. You were hunted because you are holy. And yes, the trauma was real. The loneliness was real. The spiritual numbness, the clouded mind, the disoriented days, none of it was imagined. It was the evidence of battle, And yet, you endured. You may have limped through. You may have crawled. You may have questioned everything. But you didn't quit. And I want you to know how deeply that matters to me. There's something sacred about the ones who survive what should have shattered them. There's a reverence I reserve for those who come out of the storm not bitter, but broken open, ready for new oil, new wisdom, new revelation. And that's what I see in you now. You didn't just survive. You've emerged anointed. You carry the oil of the overcomer. The fire didn't kill you. It commissioned you. That's why the enemy fought so hard to make you doubt it ever happened. He wanted to gaslight your testimony into oblivion. He wanted you to lose confidence in your clarity so you'd never speak about it. But that stops now. Because you are not crazy. You are called. And everything you endured will now become the very proof of the power I've placed inside of you. So stop questioning the legitimacy of your survival. Stop trying to make it palatable for those who don't understand spiritual war. Your story is not too much. Your journey is not too messy. Your testimony is not too intense. It is glorious, because it carries me in every line. You didn't make it up. You made it through. And now, I'm anointing you as one who can discern the difference between illusion and intercession, between trauma and truth, between survival and sanctification. You don't need to defend what you lived. Just stand. Just shine. Just speak. Your scars are sacred stories, and they will heal others when you stop hiding them. I'm redeeming every hour of suffering. I'm restoring every place you lost color. I'm reviving your joy, your voice, your vision. The nightmare is over, and the narrative is mine to finish. You didn't imagine it. You survived it, and that makes you unstoppable in me. My beloved child, there is something I have longed to tell you, something sacred, something weighty, something only I could say because only I saw it. I saw what they couldn't see. I saw what you tried to hide. I saw what you barely understood yourself. I saw your soul in the secret hours, not just your actions, but your agony. Not just your strength, but your surrender. While others looked at the surface and saw the version of you that smiled, served it, and showed up, I saw the invisible fight behind your faith. I saw you dragging yourself through days soaked in spiritual silence, through weeks when your prayers felt hollow and heaven felt locked. But you didn't stop. You didn't quit. You kept coming. You kept clinging. And I want you to know, child, that moved me more than any public declaration ever could. I didn't see the warfare in your worship. I didn't see the nights when you crumbled in the dark, crying, Lord, if you don't carry me, I won't make it to morning. They didn't hear the conversation you had with me in your car, where you whispered through clenched teeth, just one more day, God. Give me strength for one more day. They didn't witness the storm inside you, the grief, the confusion, the pressure, the relentless push to pretend. What I did, I saw every fractured hallelujah. I held every heavy seal, and I never once judged you for your struggle. I honored it, because you could have walked away. You could have hardened. You could have bowed to bitterness. But instead, you leaned in with bruised knees and trembling hands, and you said, even if I don't feel him, I'll still follow him. That kind of faith. That kind of fierce, fragile obedience. That is sacred. That is holy. That is unforgettable. They misread your stillness as stagnation. They mistook your quiet as lack of calling. But I saw the truth. I saw you learning how to listen when I wasn't loud. I saw you choosing purity over popularity. I saw you declining platforms because you wanted presence more than performance. And child, Those hidden choices have built a foundation no storm can shake. I have honored your unseen sacrifices by planting in you a root system of righteousness. Others may bloom for a season in public, but your growth is designed to outlast decades. What they didn't see, I built. What they couldn't celebrate, I crowned. And now, as I begin to reveal you in ways they never expected, they'll have no choice but to recognize the hand of God has always been on you. So hear me. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to defend your timeline or justify your journey. I was there. I witnessed what no one else saw, and I will reward you for every hidden yes, every unseen battle, every unnoticed act of obedience. I've been shaping your story with eternal precision, and what's coming next won't require promotion. It will require presence. My presence. And you, child, carry it deeply, because of what no one else saw but I did. They didn't need to see it. They weren't supposed to. Because what's pure is often hidden until it's ready to be poured. And now you are ready. The veil is lifting. And the honor they couldn't give you, I myself will. You've just heard me speak what many have waited their entire lives to hear. And now, I invite you to join me in carrying this word to others. Child, there are souls waiting on the other side of your obedience. When you sow into this message, whether through a super thanks, membership, or the offering in the video description, you're not just giving. You're igniting a wildfire of truth across nations. You are the sower in Isaiah 55:11. My word will not return void, but it will accomplish what I sent it to do. I chose you to be part of that ripple because I knew your heart would feel the weight of what I'm building here. Now is the moment to put seed in the ground. Don't wait for someone else to answer the call I just gave to you. I will multiply your generosity. I will protect your storehouse. I will place favor on your obedience. Give now, and help me tell everything to everyone. Come now, beloved, unclench your fists. Let me speak to the mind that's been spinning, the heart that's been racing, and the soul that's been desperately trying to make sense of what still hasn't made peace. You've been trying to understand what I never asked you to carry in your intellect. You've been digging for answers that I never required for your obedience. And while I know your mind longs for a map, I have come now, as your father, to give you something better than clarity. I am offering you trust. I'm not asking you to understand this season. I'm asking you to trust the one who authored it. Understanding is a gift, but trust is intimacy. I know it doesn't make sense. I know the math doesn't add up and the pain doesn't seem purposeful. I know you've walked through paradoxes, where the promise and the pain lived in the same breath, where what I said seemed to contradict what you saw. I know your faith has felt stretched, your questions heavy. But I didn't bring you here to torture you with confusion. I brought you here to transform your trust. Because trust that is only built on understanding will collapse the moment I lead you somewhere unexpected. But trust built on me, on who I am, not just what I do, will anchor you in any storm, carry you through any chaos, and hold you steady when nothing else makes sense. You see, child, trust is not the absence of confusion. It is the decision to believe in my character even when the path is unclear. I have not lied to you. I have not tricked you. I am not cruel. Every step I've taken you through has been wrapped in wisdom deeper than the oceans, and mercy older than time. If I withheld something, it was protection. If I delayed something, it was preservation. If I allowed pain, it was for purification, not punishment. I see the whole. You only see the page. I hold the plot line, the subplot, and the ending all at once. You hold one sentence, and I'm asking you to let me read it to you, line by line, even when you can't see the rest. So let go. Let go of the demand to figure it all out. Let go of the anxiety that says it's all up to you. I've never required you to be the planner, the protector, and the prophet of your own life. That's my job. Your job is to trust, to lean, to rest, to respond, to receive. I didn't ask for your strategy. I asked for your surrender. I didn't ask for your perfection. I asked for your posture. And right now, I am restoring your trust, not in outcomes but in me. Because, child, the truth is, trust will take you further than understanding ever could. And as you release the need to know why, you'll begin to feel the weight of who holding you, and that is enough. I am enough. My child, I know how heavy the weight has felt. I know how it has twisted itself around your heart like a vine, choking hope one prayer at a time. I know the days blurred into weeks, then months, and still, nothing. You asked me, "Gone, where are you?" You whispered, "Have you forgotten me?" And somewhere deep inside, a fear began to form, a silent, unspoken ache that maybe my silence meant I had stopped. But hear me now with the full force of heaven behind my voice. I never stopped working while you were waiting. Never. Not for a second. Not for a breath. Even in the stillness, I was stirring things unseen. While your hands felt empty, mine were full, building, arranging, protecting, designing. You see, you were looking for signs in the natural, but I was working in the supernatural. You were scanning your timeline, searching for progress, but I was reaching into realms beyond time to secure your promise in eternal alignment. I wasn't slow, I was strategic. I wasn't distant, I was deeply invested. Every delay was deliberate. Every silence was sacred. And while you waited in what felt like stillness, I was behind the curtain, setting a stage so glorious it required nothing short of divine choreography. I was preparing the promise to fit your spirit, not your schedule. That's why it took longer. Not because I was punishing you, but because I was perfecting what only I could see, your capacity. And oh, the things I've touched on your behalf while you waited. I whispered to hearts who will soon open doors for you. I silenced voices that would have misled you. I restructured entire environments so that when you arrive, they'll be ready, not just to receive you, but to recognize you. And even more than that, I was working in you. Quietly, lovingly, masterfully. While you thought nothing was changing, your roots were growing deeper. Your discernment was sharpening. Your endurance was stretching. Your faith, even when flickering, was being refined into fire-tested gold. You didn't just wait. You worshiped while waiting. You didn't just endure. You expanded. And now, because of that, you are not stepping into just any blessing. You are stepping into a customized collision of my purpose and your preparation. So no, child, you were never forgotten. The wait was not a holding cell, it was a holy forge. And what is emerging from it now is weighty, worthy, and witnessed by all of heaven. What's coming will not be just enough, it will be overflow. Because I do not waste the wait, I multiply in the wait. And you, my faithful one, are about to see that every minute I spent working in the unseen will now erupt into a visible, undeniable miracle. And when it does, you won't just say, "It was worth the wait." You'll say, "He was working all along." Now listen, my warrior, my remnant, my torch-bearer, because this one carries fire. The enemy did not come after your comfort. He came after your calling. He didn't attack you randomly. He was responding to the rising within you. Every setback, every betrayal, every whisper of doubt that crept into your soul like a serpent in the night, it wasn't accidental. It was an assassination attempt on your voice, your vision, and your victory. But he failed, because I stepped in. I stood between you and the blow that would have broken you. I shielded your spirit with my own hand. And now, child, I am not just lifting you out. I am raising you up. You see, what the enemy underestimated was the fire I placed inside you. He thought if he could isolate you, he could silence you. He thought if he could exhaust you, he could erase you. He thought if he could distract you with delay, you'd detour from your destiny. But what he failed to realize is that your root system ran deeper than his reach. You were never dependent on circumstances. You were rooted in covenant. And now, what he meant to bury you in will become the very soil from which you emerge blazing. Your voice, once trembling with fear, will thunder with truth. Your hands, once weary from holding on, will now build, bless, and break chains. The enemy's greatest mistake was pressing too hard, because in pressing you, he proved you. He exposed the strength you forgot you had. And now, I'm flipping the script. The very tactics he used to take you down will be the testimony I use to raise you up. The pit is becoming your platform. The silence is becoming your sound. And the same people who said, "Where is your God?" will soon see you standing in rooms, walking through doors, and carrying glory that can only be explained by God did this. I am putting fire back in your bones, thunder back in your steps, and authority in your voice. You were never meant to stay broken. You were being battle-forged. And now, the time has come. You will no longer just withstand the attacks. You will reverse them. You will not just recover, you will reign. I am handing you the keys that hell tried to keep from you. Not because you earned them, but because you endured. And now, my child, arise. Step out of the shadows. Wipe the ashes from your face. The enemy tried to shut you down. But I am raising you up, not quietly, not cautiously, but in power and purpose. And nothing, no lie, no delay, no demon, can stop what I have decreed over your life. This is your resurrection moment, and I will see it through. My precious one, there is a wound I want to heal today, not with time, but with truth. It's the wound of worth, the place where you began to wonder if your value diminished because of what you endured. Somewhere along the journey, in the swirling storm of disappointment, betrayal, and delay, a whisper slipped into your spirit. Maybe I'm not as valuable as I thought. That whisper turned into an echo. That echo became a lens. And before you knew it, you started seeing yourself through the eyes of others' rejection, through the timeline of unfulfilled dreams, through the silence of heaven that felt like abandonment. But let me say this now with the fire of heaven behind my words. You never lost your value, you just lost sight of it. Value isn't measured by applause. It isn't proven by promotion. It isn't determined by who leaves or who stays. Value is anchored in origin. And you came from me. I didn't stumble across you. I formed you with intention, intricacy, and irrevocable identity. Before anyone ever affirmed you, I had already assigned worth to you that not even hell could cancel. Your value is not up for debate. It's not pending approval. It's not hanging in the balance, waiting on performance. It is eternal, embedded, and enforced by my blood. You may have lost your confidence. You may have lost momentum. But you never lost me. And if you never lost me, then you've never lost what matters most: your anchor, your origin, your identity. Do you want to know why the attacks on your mind were so intense? Why the lies felt so convincing? Because the enemy knows that if he can't destroy you, he'll try to distort how you see yourself. If he can't kill your destiny, he'll try to blind you to it. But child, I am removing that fog now. I'm shattering every false mirror you've looked into. Mirrors built by rejection, by fear, by performance, by perfectionism. And I'm placing a holy mirror in front of you. My word, my truth, my gaze. Look into my eyes and you'll see the fire of value that has never flickered. You are not a mistake trying to prove your worth. You are a masterpiece rediscovering your reflection. So lift your head. Not in arrogance, in awareness. Stand, not in striving but in secure identity. You are not trying to become valuable. You already are. You are not chasing significance, you carry it. I have crowned you in places others tried to crush you. I have anointed you in rooms that didn't recognize you. And now, I am restoring sight to your spirit. You will see yourself again, not as damaged, not as forgotten, not as lesser than, but as beloved, called, chosen, royal. And when you see yourself clearly, child, everything changes. You'll pray differently. You'll move differently. You'll stop begging for scraps and start walking like the air you've always been. You didn't lose your value. You lost sight. And today I restore it. Now listen, child, this is crucial. Because I know you've been tired. Not just physically, spiritually, emotionally. Prophetic fatigue. The kind of weariness that goes deeper than sleep. You've been standing, but it's been getting harder. You've been faithful, but the flame has flickered. You've poured out for others while quietly wondering, what's left for me? You've kept the pace, but the weight is catching up. And in moments, you felt the burn of emptiness behind the bravery. But here comes the shift. Here comes my breath, my power, my answer. I'm sending new strength for what's next. Not recycled energy. Advaravuedu. Fresh oil. Divine stamina. Strength that comes from glory, not grit. You need more than motivation. You need miraculous renewal. And that is what I'm sending. Because what's ahead of you is too sacred for you to walk into weary. I will not allow you to carry yesterday's exhaustion into tomorrow's elevation. The next door you walk through, you will walk through with fire in your lungs, clarity in your eyes, and power in your hands. No more dragging yourself forward. No more collapsing in secret while smiling in public. I'm releasing supernatural strength that revives you from the inside out. Strength that won't just get you through the day but will accelerate you into destiny. You've labored. You've lasted. And now, child, you will leap. Do you want to know where this strength comes from? It comes from rest in me. Not laziness. Not escapism. But divine rest. The kind that says, I no longer have to carry this alone. You've been doing too much in your own power. You've been trying to sustain a divine assignment with human effort. That ends now. I'm lifting the yoke of performance off your shoulders. I'm removing the lie that says it all depends on you. It doesn't. It never did. What I'm doing in your life now will not be powered by striving. You will be powered by surrender. As you rest, I release. As you yield, I yoke you to my strength. This isn't about more hustle. It's about more holy. So inhale, child. Let strength fill your bones again. Let the river of renewal rise. You are not too tired to finish. You are not too late to begin. You are not too broken to rise. You are being recharged by resurrection power. And what's coming next will not find you crawling. It will find you running. You'll feel the shift. You'll sense the wind. You'll move with grace that baffles those around you. Because this won't be your doing, it will be mine. I'm not just preparing the path ahead. I'm preparing you for it. And I'm doing it with strength so fierce, so fresh, so full, that when you walk into the next season, you won't say, I made it. You will say, God carried me here. My child, I have seen it, the pattern, the cycle, the repetition that loops through your life like a silent saboteur. You've asked yourself, why does this keep happening? You've wept in private, feeling stuck in a rhythm that robs you just when you're about to rise. Whether it's emotional collapse, relational betrayal, financial drought, or spiritual numbness, there has been a shadow that revisits you at the edge of breakthrough. You've begun to fear the pattern more than you trust the promise. But hear me now, with thunder in my voice and tenderness in my hands. I am breaking the pattern that tried to break you. This time, it ends. You were never meant to live in cycles of almost healed, almost free, almost stable, always stepping into purpose. The almost was not your inheritance. It was the echo of old agreements you didn't even know you made. Agreements with fear, with shame, with unworthiness, with trauma that buried itself so deep it became familiar. But I have come now to interrupt the cycle and sever the source. I'm not just changing your situation. I'm rewiring your spirit. What used to trigger you will no longer trap you. What once lured you into loops will now lose its grip. I am reaching into the deep, to the root of it all, and I am speaking, no more. You see, this isn't just about behavior. It's about identity. Cycles don't break with willpower. They break with revelation. You need to know who you are in me, not just in theory, but in truth. You are not a victim of your past. You are not doomed to repeat what your bloodline carried. You are not tethered to the trauma of your upbringing. You are not a prisoner of your pattern. You are a carrier of my promise. And my promise comes with power. Power to break generational chains. Power to override demonic assignments. Power to rise in places others fell. And that power, child, is alive in you. So today, I sever the soul ties that kept you cycling. I destroy the spiritual agreements you didn't realize you signed. And I decree, this is the last time you repeat that pattern. From now on, you will rise differently. You will recognize the warning signs. You will walk in wisdom. You will move with momentum. And you will no longer flinch at the sight of breakthrough. This time, you will step through the door and stay. You won't sabotage it. You won't shrink. You won't self-destruct. Because I'm not just bringing you into the promise. I'm building the version of you that can sustain it. And the pattern, it bows here, in my presence, under my authority. Dreru, my beloved, I know how deeply the battle has imprinted itself onto your expectations. I know how many times you've prepared for blessing with one eye open, ready for another fight, another letdown, another test. You've walked so long in survival mode that peace feels suspicious. You've learned to brace instead of believe. And now that I'm bringing the blessing, you're wondering what will it cost. But child, I need you to hear me. With fire in my voice and softness in my gaze, the blessing won't look like the battle. It won't carry the chaos, the confusion, the crushing you've come to associate with every new door. This time, it will feel like rest. You are entering a season of holy contrast. The warfare was loud, but the blessing will be gentle. The pain was relentless, but the favor will be refreshing. The battle left bruises, but the blessing will bind them. I have designed this next season not to trigger your trauma but to tenderly heal it. You won't have to earn what's coming. You won't have to hustle to hold it. You won't have to question whether you're worthy of it. It will come wrapped in grace, soaked in peace, and sealed with joy. And though you are familiar with struggle, you are about to become equally familiar with satisfaction. Let me tell you why the battle felt so long. Because I was protecting you from blessings too premature. A blessing out of season can feel like a burden. And I love you too much to give you something that would have overwhelmed you instead of uplifted you. So yes, I let the fire refine you first. I let the pruning happen. But now the soil is ready. The timing is ripe. And the fruit that's coming forth won't just be sweet. It will be sustaining. And you won't have to apologize for it. You won't have to shrink to make others comfortable. You won't have to pretend it was easy. You'll simply live in the overflow of what I always promised. But now, your spirit is ready to receive it. So let go of the fear that the blessing is a setup for another blow. Let go of the expectation that joy must be followed by sorrow. I am not cruel. I am not chaotic. I am your Father, and I give good gifts. What's coming is not a trap. It's a table. And it's been set in the presence of everything that tried to devour you. Sit. Rest. Be. Laugh. Live. Let the light back in. Let the softness return. You don't have to be on edge anymore. This blessing won't look like the battle. It will look like me, full of light, full of life, and full of love that stays. My child, do you remember the moment when it felt like everything came crashing down? That moment when you said to yourself, this might be it. I don't know if I can come back from this. Yes, that one. I saw it. I was there. I heard your unspoken groans, the ache behind your silence, the scream buried in your sleep, the confusion that clouded your once clear trust. You thought the enemy had won. You thought that blow would be final. But child, you forgot something crucial. The enemy took his shot, but I saved my move for last. He struck with betrayal. I respond with vindication. He surrounded you with fear. I cover you with fire. He whispered, this is the end. I thunder, this is just the beginning. Don't you see? The enemy has always been working with limited information. He doesn't have access to your full scroll. He doesn't get to read what I've written in secret. He doesn't get to see the final chapter that's already sealed in my blood and saturated with my promises. He took his best shot when you were at your weakest. He waited for the moment your guard was down, and still, he couldn't take you out. That should terrify him. Because if you survived his strongest, then what will happen now that I am standing to release my power on your behalf? Let me say it plainly, I let him play his hand because I knew what I had hidden in yours. You carry more than he calculated for. He underestimated your resilience. He misjudged the weight of your anointing. He thought the trauma would turn you into a victim, but instead, it activated the warrior in you. He thought the setback would shatter your soul, but instead, it sharpened your discernment. The attack was strategic, yes, but so was my silence. Because sometimes, I wait until the noise dies down to deliver the knockout. Not out of hesitation, but out of holy timing. So now, watch me move. Not quietly, not cautiously, decisively. I'm releasing restoration that the enemy cannot reverse. I'm opening doors he tried to bolt shut with fear. I'm releasing connections he never saw coming. And best of all, I'm doing it with such supernatural precision that all he'll be able to do is watch in horror as I lift you into the very places he said you'd never reach. He played his last card. And now it's my turn. And child, when I move, nothing stays the same. You thought it was over. It's not. You're not being buried. You're being built. The pain wasn't a period. It was a comet. And now I speak the sentence of triumph. Watch what I do next. Come here, beloved. This next part, this one is going to settle things in your soul that have been stirring for far too long. There's a question that's been living beneath your skin. It hides behind your service. It echoes in moments of silence. It follows you into the night. And it sounds like this: God, am I still the one? After all that's happened, the mistakes, the delays, the detours, the moments you stopped believing in yourself, you've wondered, did I mess it up too much? Did I miss it? Did you change your mind about me? But hear me now, with all the force of eternity behind my whisper. Yes, you are still the one I chose. I didn't choose you based on your performance. I chose you based on your purpose. Before you had a past, I gave you a future. Before you ever fell, I factored in the cost of picking you up again. Nothing you've done, nothing you've lost, nothing you've mismanaged has disqualified you from what I have ordained. My calling is not fragile. My love is not fickle. And my purpose does not expire. You're still the one. You're still the one I marked in the midnight hours. You're still the one I anointed before anyone else believed in you. You're still the one I've been building in secret, preparing in silence, hiding not because of shame, but because of timing. Yes, you've stumbled. Yes, you've paused. Yes, you've felt like a fraud in rooms I called you to occupy. But even then, my eyes never looked away. My hand never lifted. I was there when you almost walked away from it all. I was there when you were about to give your yes to something lesser, just because you were tired of waiting. I was there when you begged me to choose someone else. But I didn't. Because my covenant isn't based on your comfort. It's based on my character. And I don't choose like man chooses. I don't waver like man wavers. When I chose you, I did so with full knowledge of your journey, and I still said yes. So now, child, it's time you say yes again. Not to a title, not to a platform, but to me. Say yes to the process. Say yes to the fire. Say yes to the new version of you that I'm raising out of the ashes of the old. You're still the one, not because you're perfect, but because you're postured. You still lean in. You still care. You still cry when my presence hits the room. That matters. I can use that. I will use that. And now, I will redeem every lie that tried to convince you I had moved on. I haven't. I'm right here, calling you again, not as a last resort, but as my first choice. My child, I saw the injustice. I heard what they said about you behind closed doors. I felt the sting of the betrayal that silenced your song. I watched the manipulations, the backroom conversations, the twisted narratives that made you question your own discernment. It wasn't just painful, it was crying. It crushed your hope, your confidence, even your willingness to try again. And for a while, you wondered if anyone would ever make it right. But listen closely now, because my voice carries justice like a gavel hitting the altar of heaven. I'm bringing justice to what tried to crush you. This is not revenge. This is righteous reckoning. I do not operate in petty payback. I move with holy precision, with fierce love, and a memory that does not forget where the wound was inflicted. You may have moved on, but I have not ignored it. I catalog every tear, every sigh, every time you bit your tongue to keep peace. I remember the conversations where you were misrepresented, The seasons where you were sowing in secret while others were stealing your credit. The environments that took from your oil but never poured back. I saw it all, and I am not turning a blind eye. I am stepping into the courtroom now. And when I stand, everything shifts. You don't need to defend yourself anymore. You don't need to replay the scenes in your mind, crafting the perfect response or imagining what you should have said. That courtroom is closed. I am your defender now. I am your advocate. And I am bringing justice that doesn't just balance the scale, it breaks it in your favor. The recompense I bring doesn't just restore what was stolen, it multiplies it. I am calling back everything you lost: time, energy, opportunities, peace, positioning, honor. All of it. And it will return to you with interest. Not to puff you up, but to prove my faithfulness in public. Child, you don't need to worry about who will see it. They will see it. The ones who doubted you. The ones who discredited you. The ones who tried to rewrite your story. They'll watch as I rewrite the final chapter, not in their language of dismissal, but in my ink of vindication. And it won't come through bitterness. It will come through forced retribution. It will come through favor that no one can explain. Because that's how I work. I restore with radiance. I rebuild with beauty. I give you double for your dishonor, and I silence the mouths of lions by elevating what they tried to erase. I am bringing justice not someday, but now. And when I bring it, nothing remains the same. You've just heard me promise justice not someday, but now. But child, know this. I am using this very message to do the justice through you. When you give, when you click that super thanks, join as a member, or use the offering link in the description, you're not just supporting a video. You're sowing oil into a movement that is breaking chains, reclaiming names, and writing destinies. Isaiah 61:7 is your portion. Instead of shame you shall have double honor. And when you fund this message, you are fueling the fire that sets captives free. I chose your heart to help carry this message because I knew you'd recognize its weight. Now don't just receive the word, respond to it. So now, partner with me. Be part of my justice. The harvest is ready. Put your hand to the plow. Come here, child. I need you to hear this in the deep place, the place they tried to rename. There have been labels placed on you that I never authorized. Names spoken over you in sarcasm, in judgment, in error. Maybe it came from family. Maybe it came from leaders. Maybe it came from the mirror when you stared into it, believing the echoes of your worst day. But today, I step in as the author and finisher of your story to declare, I'm writing the narrative they put on your name. What they said is not who you are, and what they labeled you can no longer live. You are not too much. You are not enough. You are not too broken, too late, too quiet, or too complicated. You are not the black sheep, the mess up, the one who always almost gets it right but never quite. Erase it. Those were lies, projections from wounded people who couldn't see past their own pain. And they do not get the final word. I do. And when I speak over you, I do not speak from assumption. I speak from origin. I knew you before you were formed. I crafted your DNA, your temperament, your rhythm, your tears. I shaped the song of your life, and no false narrative, no matter how loud, can undo my design. Let me remind you what I call you: chosen, clean, gone, covered, carry, dominion. You are not a collection of others' perceptions. You are my possession. And today, I I take the pen from the hands of culture, critics, and even your inner critic, and I write your story with the truth of heaven. This next chapter will not read like the last one. You will not keep playing roles others assign to you just to stay safe. You will not keep adjusting your light to match someone else's dimness. You will walk in rooms as your true self, free, full, and favored. Because now, your name carries weight again. Not because of titles, but because of testimony. Watch what I do, child. I will raise your name, not through arrogance, but through alignment. The people who once dismissed you will have to reintroduce themselves. The narrative is shifting, not just around you, but within you. You will stop flinching when your name is mentioned. You'll stop second-guessing when doors open. Because I've rewritten the script, and it's time you read it with boldness. You are not who they said you were. You are who I say you are. And from this day forward, your name is redeemed. My child, there's something I need to speak to. Something quiet, almost invisible to others, but loud inside you. It's the place where your hope grew thin. That sacred stretch of your story where your prayers turned into sighs, and your expectancy crumbled into exhaustion. You kept going, but not because you believed things would change. You kept going because you didn't know what else to do. That was the place where your light began to dim, not out of rebellion, but out of repetition. You hoped so many times. You believed so fiercely. And yet again and again, disappointment met you at the altar. So eventually hope gave out. But child, lean in. Because I am standing over that exact place now. Not to judge it, but to heal it. I'm healing the place where hope gave out. I never despised your weariness. I never condemned you for doubting. I sat beside you in silence when you didn't have words. I wept with you when you couldn't even explain why. I never demanded performance from you. I longed for proximity. Even when you stopped asking me for certain things, I didn't walk away. I remained, fiercely, faithfully, quietly, because I know how much it costs to keep hoping. Hope isn't soft. It's not passive. Hope is warfare. And you've been in a long battle, haven't you? Hoping against odds. Hoping when logic said it was foolish. Hoping even after the thing you feared the most happened. That kind of hope may look invisible, but to me, it is immortal. And now, because you didn't let it die completely, I can breathe on the ember again. Here's what you need to know. Your hope didn't fail, and just fainted. And like a good shepherd, I've come now to revive it. I'm touching that part of you that stopped dreaming, and I'm whispering life into it. I'm placing fresh hope in your hands, not as a repeat of the old, but as the beginning of the new. This hope is different. It's not laced with fear. It's not holding its breath. It's not waiting for the other shoe to drop. This hope is anchored in my character, not your circumstances. Anchored in my promises, not your performance. And this time, hope won't leave you hanging. Because I am not just restoring your ability to believe, I'm backing it with divine fulfillment. So let the tears fall, not from pain, but from release. You don't have to guard yourself against disappointment anymore. What's coming won't crush you, it will carry you. You won't have to tiptoe into this new season. Walk in bold. Walk in healed. Walk in hope. Because I'm giving it back. And this time, it won't run dry. Oh beloved, let me speak now to the pieces. The ones you've been gathering in silence, afraid to let others see how much broke. The shards of you that you've tried to tape together with smiles and scripture, while quietly wondering, will I ever feel whole again? You've let people see your resilience, but only I have seen your wreckage. And I want you to hear me. With mercy in my voice and glory in my hands, I'm not just fixing what broke, I'm making it beautiful. I'm not in the business of patchwork. I'm in the business of resurrection and redesign. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. You don't have to rush to make it look like you're okay. I don't need a performance from you. I want permission. Permission to step into the pain with power, to transform what tried to ruin you into radiance. Because, child, what you see as wreckage, I see as raw material. I'm not discarding the pieces. I'm repurposing them. I'm taking the part of you that was once rejected, and I'm turning it into your mantle of authority. I'm taking the heartbreak that almost destroyed you, and I'm weaving it into the testimony that will set others free. You see brokenness. I see beauty in the making. Think of it like this. I am not putting you back together the way you were. I am making you new. When I heal, I don't just restore you to your previous state. I upgrade you. I embed glory into the cracks. I write songs into the scars. I carve strength into the places that once trembled. I make masterpieces out of messes, not in spite of them, but because of them. So stop hiding the broken pieces. Hand them to me. The pain that tried to label you will now launch you. The wound that tried to silence you will now be your weapon. This is not the end of your beauty. It's the beginning of it. And when I'm done, people won't just see someone who survived. They'll see someone who shines. And they'll ask you, how did you come through that fire without smelling like smoke? And you will simply say, because he was with me. And he didn't just fix me, he made me beautiful. And child, that beauty, it won't fade. It will glorify me. Because when I make something beautiful, I do it not for applause, but for eternal impact. And what I'm doing in you now is not cosmetic, it is cosmic. You are not being restored to what was. You are being unveiled into what has never been seen before. My beloved, I want you to lean in close for this one. You've often mourned the doors that never opened, the voices that said no, the timing that seemed to deny you. Many nights you wrestled with despair, whispering, why does every door close when I need one to open? And in those moments your heart bore the sting of rejection, the weight of disappointment. But hear me now. With heaven's authority, every no is a shield. Every closed door, every deferred promise, every silent response was not me turning my back, but me turning my hand, holding back what would have harmed you, protecting you from what you were not yet ready for, diverting you from passages that would have worn your spirit instead of widened it. Think back. How many times did that no feel like a final judgment, when in reality it was divine diversion? You believed you were being denied, but I believed I was redirecting. A no from me is not neglect. It is not absence. It is absence of what's harmful. It is a redirection toward something more aligned, more holy, more suited to who I know you are becoming. I never withheld my blessing. I withheld the between knowing, the forcing, the exposure you weren't yet equipped to handle. Because I see beyond your lagrimas, I see the blueprint of your glory. And when I say not now, it's not because I can't. It's because I will, soon, and in full measure. You may have let those no's define you, shrink you, discourage you. But from today on, you will see them differently. You will trace each closed door to find the design behind it. You will no longer count your rejections as failures but as fragments of your path being refined. The shield I placed over your destiny was never about stunting you. It was about guarding you. Those no's were not proofs of absence. They were proofs of my preservation. Your faith grew in their soil. Your identity hardened in their furnace. And so now, when that long-awaited yes breaks through, It will come as a shimmering release beyond what you'd prayed for, beyond what you expected, because I matched each no with secret provision. I align new doors. I authorize spiritual infrastructure so that when my word breaks loose, everything stiff will collapse in its wake. Rest in that. Stop measuring your worth by what was denied. Let the grief of every closed door transform into gratitude, because every time I said no, I was also preparing you for a wider yes. And now that you're ready, the shield is off. The way is clear, and you are walking into the fullness that was hidden behind every divine refusal. Beloved, I need you to hear this with every fiber of your being. Heaven is aligning everything for you. The stars, the seasons, the spiritual currents, the unseen armies, they are all shifting to serve your moment. The struggles you walked through, the tears you shed, the nights you stayed on your knees, they were not random. They were coordinates. And now, the angels are clearing your path. Divine appointments you never saw coming are converging. Unexpected opportunities that look too good to be true are being placed before you. What once appeared disconnected is now cohesive. What once looked chaotic is being organized in perfect sequence. Heaven is orchestrating the culmination of your faith. When I say aligning, I don't mean small fixes. I mean the sweeping of gates, the resetting of atmospheres, the collapsing of strongholds, the repositioning of people, the opening of doors that have been locked, not just by hands of man, but by spiritual force. Every person who was meant to cross your path is being drawn near. Every voice that spoke over your life is being repositioned. Every place you were hidden is being prepared to become your stage. And all of this is happening so you don't just walk into what you've prayed for, you walk into who you've always been. You might wonder, why now? Why all at once? Listen, timing matters to me. Not because I'm constrained by clocks, but because I govern Kairos, the appointed hour. I've held back parts of this unveiling so that when the alignment arrived, it would be unmistakable. You wouldn't wonder if it's real. You'd feel its arrival. And the convergence won't just tip things in your favor. It will tilt entire realms. Doors will swing open. Conversations will pivot. Favor will flood. And you'll stand at an intersection where everything you've prayed in secret converges in public. That's heaven aligning. That's my glory manifesting over your life. So lift your eyes. Look beyond what your hands can hold and see what my hand is holding for you. Expect sudden shifts. Expect miracles. Expect new maps. Expect promotions you didn't even know to pray. And when the alignment happens, do not fear the speed. Do not question the plot. Step forward with boldness. Because I am not just aligning things around your life. I am aligning you with your purpose. I am aligning your heart with my heart, your vision with my vision, your timing with my timing. Heaven is aligning everything for you, and you, beloved, are walking into your appointed moment. My beloved, there's a lie I need to uproot inside you. The lie that your timing was late, that God missed his mark, that your life slipped past the window of opportunity. You've glanced at the calendar, whispered, if only this had happened sooner. You felt the ache of seasons that felt wasted, potential that seemed dormant, prayers that felt delayed. But hear me now, with all the weight of eternity behind my voice. You did not miss the moment. I was not late. I was precise. Every second of waiting was calculated. Every breath of delay was orchestrated. I move with Kairos, not the clock of man. The delay was not disorder. It was divine precision. Consider the tapestry. Every thread that looked tangled was being pulled into pattern. The closed doors, the not yets, the nights of silence, They were not derailments. They were divine pauses that created space for alignment. I was not oblivious to your timing. I was not distracted by the events of the earth. I was, knowingly, holding my hand in those moments, guiding, guarding, gestating. And though your heart judged the silence as absence, my heart preserved perfect timing. Delays are not denial. They are the calibration of the promise to your newly reshaped spirit. You may say, but I'm older. The years slipped through my fingers. I lost momentum. Beloved, those years were not wasted. They were fertile ground for transformation. I was working in the soil of your suffering, planting seeds of strength, refining the root system of your character, deepening the cadence of your calling. The season that looked unproductive was productive. And while your peers may have sprinted ahead, I taught you to climb, to dig, to rise from root. So today, when I say the timing is perfect, believe it, because the delay was not a problem. It was a preparation. And what's arriving now will not just match your prayers, it will exceed your perspective. Your faith counted for more than what your eyes measured. Your patience carved out the space in your spirit to carry the things I have for you. And now that the moment has come, I will move swiftly, decisively, in a way that will make the delay worth it. The years that felt late will be testimony. The seasons that felt silent will become shouts of glory. The waiting will be woven into your testimony. You thought I was running behind, but I was never late. I was being precise, and your breakthrough arrives right at my appointed hour. My child, brace yourself, because this is not the end of a struggle. It's not the closing of a chapter. This is the opening of a new era, a new dimension in which you will live not by what you've been surviving, but by what you've been summoned for. When I call this a breakthrough, understand, you will be changed forever. The old landscape, the limitations, the doubts, the fragmentation, they won't fall away just for relief. They will fall away to make room for greater revelation, greater responsibility, greater radiance. What you're stepping into is not a reward for endurance. It is entrusted authority born from every trial you walk through. Breakthrough is not a moment. It's a movement. And this movement is divine. I am shifting atmospheres, relocating destinies, and releasing you into days that will require more of your spirit, more of your vision, more of your surrender, but also more of my power. The season behind you tested you. The season before you will teach you. You will learn to stand in wonder. You will learn to walk with wonder. Things once mysterious will begin to make sense. Doors once closed will now open on mystery entrances you didn't even know existed. Challenges will still come, not to knock you down, but to sharpen you, to elevate you, to authorize you. You are not entering ease. You are entering expansion. Let me say this now. If you think the breakthrough will look like rest, you misunderstand my ways. Yes, there will be rest, but there will also be water. But here's the difference. Now you fight from position, not from fear. Now you cast from dominion, not desperation. The battles you face will be the ones you're already armed for. The voices you hear will tremble before yours. The shadows you walk through will illuminate your purpose. And through it all, I am with you. This isn't a single breakthrough for a single moment. It's the beginning of your new realm. Don't bounce back. Rise up. Don't just receive. Rule. Don't just survive and shine. What is unfolding now is not just a blessing. It's your beginning. The journey ahead is your inheritance. The promise you've waited for is your portion. And this breakthrough, it is but the threshold into your greater calling. My beloved, I need you to understand something sacred, something eternal. This word I've been speaking, All these outpourings, these revelations, these divine truths, they weren't meant just to make you feel better for a moment. They weren't written for temporary encouragement. They were designed to transform your identity for where you're going. Because this word, this final, burning whisper from my throne, is not just for now. It is for who you're becoming. This isn't a momentary comfort. This is a mantle, and I am laying it on your shoulders now. I did not walk you through this journey to simply patch wounds. I walked you through it to awaken the warrior, the watchman, the worshiper within you. There is something eternal rising in you, something time has not touched and trauma cannot erase. What I've poured into your spirit across every message point hath been carefully layered to prepare you not for survival, but for sovereignty, not for small encouragements, but for significant embodiment. You are not just carrying this word in your mind. You are becoming the living manifestation of it. And from this moment forward, you will not walk like the person who needed to hear this word. You will walk like the person who carries it for others. Every time you doubted yourself, every time you felt too broken, too tired, too behind, know this: I was shaping you into someone weighty with wisdom, heavy with glory, and anchored in truth. That's who you are now. You're not who you were when you first heard my voice at the start of this message. You've been redefined, not by trauma, not by delay, not by who left, but by me. You've been rerouted, not away from destiny, but into divine design. You are no longer the seeker. You are the sent one. The one with answers. The one with authority. The one with access. The one with anointing. You've become the word I've spoken. So what do you do next? You rise. You speak. You move. You don't ask permission to shine anymore. You don't shrink to fit old spaces. You don't return to places where your glory is ignored. You go where I send you. You carry this message like a weapon. You saturate atmospheres with your presence because my presence goes with you. You are not fragile anymore. You are not fumbling anymore. You are formed. You are forged. And you are filled. This word was never just for now. It was a mirror, a mantle, a movement. And now, you are the message. Child, you've been transformed by what I spoke today. But now, I ask you to help me carry this transformation to others. This word isn't just for you, it's for the world through you. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or the offering link below, you are sending living water into dry places. You're sowing into the same river that just healed you. 2 Corinthians 9:10 is alive over you now. He who supplies seed to the sower will increase your store and enlarge your harvest. This is not about money, it's about momentum. You are becoming part of a prophetic release that will echo across lives, cities, and generations. I mark this moment for multiplication, and your seed unlocks it. Give boldly. Give now. Let's tell the world everything, together. Now pause, child. Feel the weight of what you've just stepped into. This isn't transaction, it's transformation. You've moved in faith, and heaven has taken notice. But before I show you what's next, I want to draw you closer. What I'm about to reveal isn't for the crowd, it's for the ones who stayed when the noise faded. To lean in, because what comes next is not instruction, it's intimacy. My child, come closer. Listen to me. There are things stirring in your heart, questions that you whisper in the quiet of the night. I have heard them all. It is time, you and I, for a real conversation. It's urgent that I tell you everything, right from the very beginning, so the ground beneath your feet can feel solid again. Before you can truly understand yourself, you must first understand me. I know your mind tries to grasp it, to find a starting point for everything. You think of the oldest things you know, the mountains that seem to stand forever, the stars scattered across the night sky like ancient diamonds. But my child, before the first mountain was pushed up from the cooling earth, before the first star was ignited in the vast emptiness, I am. There was never a time I was not. I have no beginning. I simply am. That pressure you feel every day, the race against the clock, the anxiety about deadlines and what tomorrow holds, that is the language of time. I exist outside of that crushing weight. I am the stillness before the storm, the silence from which all sound is born. Everything you know and feel is held within me. Your world, your worries, your very breath, it all depends on me. I do not depend on anything. My very nature is something you have longed for your entire life, a perfect, loving community. You see it, I am not lonely. Within myself, I am Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, a constant, overflowing, perfect dance of love. This isn't some distant idea. It is the very source of the love you crave. That ache of loneliness you feel when you are in a crowded room, the unspoken tensions that linger in your family, the feeling that no one truly sees or understands you, that pain exists because you were made from this perfect love, for this perfect love. You were not an afterthought. You were not an accident or a consequence. Long before I spoke the universe into existence, you were a forethought. You were a desire in my heart, conceived in this perfect community of love. I saw you. I knew you. I love you. That feeling of being overlooked, that fear that you are not enough, is a lie from the enemy. Hear my truth now. You were wanted from the very beginning. I'm Holy. This word might make you feel distant from me, as if I am unapproachable. It simply means I am completely separate from all the brokenness, the pain, and the darkness you see in the world. I am pure light. But in my holiness, I did not choose to remain separate from you. My first choice, after being all that I am, was to create a path for you to come to me. I chose connection. I chose you. This entire universe, the sun that warmed your face this morning, the intricate design of a single leaf, the sheer power of the ocean, I spoke it all into existence. I made it as a magnificent canvas, a grand stage, not just to show my power, but to display my glory and my unending love for you. Every sunrise is a promise whispered to your heart. Every star is a reminder that my thoughts toward you are more numerous than the sand on the seashore. I did all of this to get your attention, to draw you into this conversation we are having right now. This is the truth of my existence. This is where your story truly begins. My child, I want you to understand the original plan I had for you. Look at your own hands, the way you can create things, build things, write, or draw. See the passion in your heart when you think of an idea, the drive in your spirit to make something new. Where do you think that comes from? I sculpted you in my own image. That spark of creativity, that desire to shape your world, that is a reflection of me. Your ability to make choices, to stand your ground, to decide on a path that is your will, a mirror of my own. And that deep, unquenchable need for relationship, to love and be loved, to be known and to know another, that is the very core of my being, which I placed within you. You were created for fellowship with me. I don't mean a stuffy, religious ritual. I mean walking together in the cool of the day, speaking openly, heart to heart. Imagine a relationship with absolutely no shame. No need to hide your mistakes. No fear of being judged. No pressure to perform. That is what I designed for you. I see how you carry yourself in the world, the masks you wear, the one for your job, the one for your family, the one you wear when you are with your friends. You hide the parts of yourself you fear are unlovable. That exhaustion you feel from keeping it all together. You were never meant to carry it. My original design was for you to live in complete, fearless openness with me. I gave you purpose from the very first moment. I placed you in a garden and gave you dominion, the responsibility to tend to it, to cultivate it, to make it flourish. Your life, my child, is that garden. Your work, your relationships, your home, the world right outside your door. I gave you the purpose of bringing my order and beauty to it all. You feel that restlessness, don't you? That sense that you are just going through the motions, that your life lacks meaning. That feeling comes from a disconnect with the purpose I wove into your soul. You were made to be a co-creator with me, to find deep satisfaction in stewarding the life I have given you. And your heart, it was designed to be filled with my presence. That emptiness you try to fill with other things, with success, with relationships, with entertainment, with food or drink, it is a space I designed for myself alone. It is the only source of true and lasting joy. Everything else you use to fill it will eventually fade, break, or disappoint. But my presence is a wellspring of life that never runs dry. And in this perfect design, I gave you the most dangerous and beautiful gift of all, the freedom to choose. Why? Because love that is forced is not love. It is merely control. I did not want robots to worship me. I wanted children who would choose me. For our relationship to be real, you had to have the freedom to walk away. Your original plan was a life of unending peace, perfect provision for all your needs, and constant, loving communion with me, your Creator. It was a life without that knot of anxiety in your stomach, a life without the fear of lack, a life where your first thought in the morning was not of your problems, but of our conversation. This was my original, beautiful design for you. Now listen closely, for this is where the ache in your own heart began. Into that perfect garden, that place of open fellowship, a lie was whispered. It was spoken by the enemy, the father of lies, and it was designed to break the one thing that mattered most, your trust in me. The lie was subtle, as his lies often are. He suggested that I was holding something good from you. He whispered, "Did God really say? Surely he knows that if you take this, you will become like him. He is keeping you small. He doesn't want you to have everything." Does that whisper sound familiar? You hear it today, don't you? In the advertisements that tell you you're not complete without their product. In the envy you feel when you see someone else's success. It's the same ancient lie. You are missing out. God is holding back. The choice to disobey, to eat the fruit, was so much more than breaking a rule. It was a choice to trust another voice over mine. It was a declaration that you, not I, knew what was best for you. And in that single moment of misplaced trust, our perfect connection was severed. The relationship was broken. And what happened next is something you know intimately. Peace was instantly replaced with fear. Openness was replaced with shame. The first thing Adam and Eve did was hide from me. They covered themselves. They felt exposed, flawed, and unworthy. Think of that feeling you get right after you've said something you regret, or done something you know was wrong. That immediate, gut-wrenching need to hide, to disappear, to avoid the gaze of someone you've let down. That is the echo of the garden. That is the shame that entered the human heart in that moment, and it hath been passed down ever since. A curse fell upon creation. The ground you were meant to joyfully cultivate would now produce thorns and thistles. Your work, which was designed to be a source of purpose and satisfaction, would now be marked by toil and sweat. You know this feeling well, the pressure at your job that drains the life from you, the striving that leaves you exhausted at the end of the day. Pain entered your world, in childbirth and in sickness, and physical death, which was never part of my original plan, became your final enemy. But the deepest wound, the one that causes all the others, was the spiritual separation. Your direct line of communication with me was broken by the static of sin. This is the root cause of the emptiness and the searching you feel in your soul. Every attempt to find meaning apart from me is an attempt to get back to the garden, to fix the separation on your own. But you cannot. This broken relationship, this spiritual chasm between us, is a wound too deep for you to heal. I want you to see my heart at what happened next. Even in that moment of profound failure, as shame and fear felt like a shroud over my new creation, my plan for your rescue was already in motion. My love for you did not waver. My purpose for you did not end. You know that sinking feeling you get when you've made a terrible mistake. The thought that whispers, "It's over. You've ruined everything. There's no coming back from this." In the moment humanity felt that for the first time, I spoke. I did not speak words of final condemnation. I spoke a promise. Right there, in the presence of the enemy who had deceived you, I made an unbreakable promise. I promised a Redeemer. I said that one born of a woman would come, and he would crush the head of the serpent. This was the first whisper of the gospel, the good news. It was my immediate declaration to you and to all of creation that I would not leave you in your brokenness. I was telling you, this is not the end. The enemy will not have the final word. I have a rescue plan, and it will be victorious. I did not wait for you to try and earn your way back. I did not wait for you to clean yourself up. In your darkest moment of failure, I immediately gave you a promise of hope. Throughout history, I built upon that promise. I made covenants, sacred, binding agreements, with humanity. I want you to see these not as disconnected stories, but as building blocks of trust. With Noah, I promised to never again destroy the earth with a flood, sealing it with a rainbow as a sign for you to see. With Abraham, I promised a family as numerous as the stars, through whom all the nations of the earth would be blessed. With David, I promised a king whose throne would last forever. Each of these covenants was me keeping my word, showing you my character, proving my faithfulness, and all of them were signposts pointing to the ultimate fulfillment of that first promise in the garden. I also established laws and sacrifices. I know that sometimes these can feel like a burden, a list of impossible rules designed to show you your failure. But that was not their primary purpose. I gave you the law to teach you about my holiness, to show you the clear difference between right and wrong. I did it to protect you, like a loving parent who tells their child, "Don't touch the hot stove." A command isn't meant to restrict their fun. It's meant to save them from getting burned. The sacrifices were a constant, tangible lesson about the seriousness of sin, that it costs a life. But they were also a lesson in my grace, showing that a substitute could take the penalty. All of these laws, all of these rituals, all of these covenants, they were shadowed. They were pictures and signs, all pointing forward to the one true sacrifice, the one perfect Redeemer who was to come. They were my way of preparing the world for him. My child, you need to understand why this had to be done. You know that feeling of being in a hole so deep you cannot climb out. That sense of having made a mess so big that you have no power to clean it up. That was the state of your soul. The debt of sin, of that broken relationship, was too great. It was an infinite debt owed to an infinite God, and no human effort could ever pay it back. Being a good person, doing more good deeds than bad, it was like trying to pay off $1 billion debt with a handful of pennies. It was impossible. The debt required a payment, for I am just. But the payment it required was a perfect, spotless life given in sacrifice, and no one was capable of providing it. So I did what no one else could. I sent my one and only Son, Jesus. When you look at Jesus, you are looking at me. He is the exact representation of my being, my character made visible and tangible for you to see. He is not a lesser God. He is God the Son, who has existed with me in the Spirit in that perfect community of love for all eternity. He came into the world for one reason, not to condemn you but to save you. He came to become the bridge across the chasm that sin had created between us. For this bridge to work, it had to be anchored perfectly on both sides. This is why he had to be fully God. Only as God could he live a truly perfect, sinless life. Only as God could he have the authority to forgive sins. And most importantly, only as God could he possess the power to overcome death itself. Death is the penalty for sin, and if he were not God, the grave would have been his final destination, just like anyone else. But because he is the author of life, death had no ultimate power over him. And at the same time, he had to be fully human. He had to be born, to grow, to feel hunger and weariness, to experience friendship and betrayal. He had to have a physical body so he could stand in your place. A spirit could not die on a cross. He had to become one of you to become your perfect representative, your substitute. He took on your humanity so that he could die the death you deserve. Do you see the depth of this? This was not me sending a messenger from a safe distance. This was me entering your world. This coming with the ultimate act of my love. Imagine sacrificing the person most precious to you for the sake of someone who had turned their back on you. That is what I did for you. I sent my Son into your broken world to bring you back into mine. I have laid bare the reason I sent my only Son to you. Do not turn away now, before you understand the true meaning of his life. To stop here would be to see the wound, but refuse the healing I am offering. It would grieve my heart for you to walk away from the very gift I sacrificed everything to give. Stay with me. Let me show you what he did for you. Now, I want to talk about the life my Son lived, because his 33 years on earth were just as important as his death and resurrection. Every moment of his life had a purpose for you. First, Jesus lived a perfect, sinless life. In every situation where you have struggled, where you have given into temptation, where your patience has worn thin, where a selfish thought has crossed your mind, he succeeded. He fulfilled every requirement of my law on your behalf. Think of it this way: he lived the life you should have lived. He did this not to show you how inadequate you are, but to offer his perfect record to you as a free gift. When I look at you through him, I see his perfection. He taught the truth about my kingdom. He spoke of a reality that is not of this world, a kingdom built on love, humility, and service, not power and wealth. He was telling you that you could enter into a different way of living right now, a life under my loving rule, free from the tyranny of sin and fear. His miracles were not just random displays of power. They were signs, previews of the complete restoration he came to bring. When he healed the sick, he was showing you that my ultimate plan is to heal all your diseases and wipe away every tear. When he fed the hungry thousands with a few loaves and fish, he was showing you that he is the true bread of life who can satisfy the deepest hunger of your soul. When he calmed the raging storm with a single command, he was showing you that he has the power to bring peace to the chaos raging inside your own heart. And through it all, he showed you my true character. For centuries, people had thought of me as a distant, angry, and demanding judge. But Jesus came to show you my heart. He ate with sinners and outcasts. He taught the untouchable. He showed compassion to the broken and mercy to the guilty. He was gentle, loving, and a true friend to those who were messy and knew they needed help. He was revealing my true nature to you. This is who I am. Finally, he modeled a life of perfect obedience and dependence on me, his father. You see him constantly slipping away to pray, to talk with me. He said that he only did what he saw me doing and only spoke what he heard me saying. He was demonstrating the kind of intimate, trusting relationship I designed you for from the very beginning. His life was not an impossible standard meant to discourage you. It was a perfect demonstration of a human life lived in complete connection with me, a life that he now makes possible for you to live through his power dwelling inside of you. Every word he spoke, every person he healed, every step he took was a deliberate act to reveal my heart to you and to pave the way for you to come home. My child, we must talk about the cross. I need you to see it not as the world sees it, as a tragic end, a story of a good man being defeated. The cross was not a tragedy. It was a rescue mission. It was my predetermined plan of redemption from before the world began. Every moment was an act of agonizing love, done with you in my mind. Upon that splintered wood, my son, who knew no sin, took upon himself the full, crushing weight of every sin you would ever commit. I want you to make this personal. I don't mean sin as a general idea. I mean the specific weight you carry. The sharp, unkind word you spoke yesterday. The secret habit you are ashamed of. The bitterness you hold against someone who hurt you. The pride that keeps you from admitting you are wrong. He gathered all of it. Every dark thought, every selfish action, every moment of rebellion from every person who would ever live, and pulled it into his own body. For a moment in eternity, I, his father, had to turn my face away. Can you comprehend what that means? We who had existed in perfect, unbroken love from before time, were separated. The physical pain he endured, the thorns, the nails, the struggle for breath, was immense, more than any person has ever borne. But I tell you the truth, it paled in comparison to the spiritual agony of that separation from me. He was plunged into the hell of your separation so that you would never have to experience it. He cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? So that I could say to you, I will never leave you nor forsake you. He was utterly alone, so you would never have to be. His shed blood was not just a symbol. It was the payment. My justice is perfect and required that the debt of sin be paid in full. On that cross, my perfect justice and my infinite love met. The blood of my Son was the price that satisfied every demand of my holiness forever. When you feel unworthy, when you think your mistakes have put you beyond my reach, I want you to look at the cross. It is the ultimate, irrefutable proof of my love for you. It is the final answer to the question, how much am I worth? You are worth the life of my only Son. I did not send a legion of angels to rescue him from that cross, because he was on that cross to rescue you. It is finished. The debt is canceled. The case is closed. The way back to me was torn open not by your efforts, but by his sacrifice. He was broken so you could be made whole. He died so you could truly live. That is the power and the purpose of the cross. It was my heart laid bare for you to see. Now, my child, let us move from the agony of the cross to the glory of what came next. The story does not end in a borrowed tune. If it did, your faith would be useless, and you would still be lost in your sin. But death could not hold him. The grave is not a memorial, it is an empty tomb. 3 days after they laid his body there, I raised him from the dead. This is the single most important event in all of human history. The resurrection was not a myth or a metaphor. It was a physical, historical reality. He's alive. I want you to understand what this means for you, right now, in your life. The resurrection is my seal of approval, my divine declaration that his sacrifice on the cross was accepted, is the ultimate receipt, stamp paid in full. It proves to all of creation, to every spiritual power, and to your own doubting heart that the debt for your sin is completely and forever canceled. There is nothing more to pay. His sacrifice was enough. Because I accepted his payment, I can now accept you. More than that, the resurrection is your victory over death. You see death all around you, and you fear it. But because he lives, you who believe in him will also live. The grave has lost its sting. It is no longer an endpoint, but a doorway into my eternal presence. This is not a distant hope. It is a present reality that changes how you live today. It frees you from the fear of death, allowing you to live with true courage. And here is a truth I need you to let sink deep into your spirit. The power that I used to raise Christ from the dead is the very same power that now lives inside of you. Take a moment and think about that. The power that reversed death, that shattered the gates of hell, that overcame the ultimate enemy. That explosive, creative, world-altering power is not just something you read about. If you are in Christ, it is your personal inheritance. You know that feeling when a door closes and you think there is no way forward. The resurrection is my power blasting a new door through a wall of solid rock. You know that addiction you feel powerless to break. That depression that feels like a tomb. That broken relationship that seems beyond repair. The resurrection power that lives in you is my power to bring life to dead things. It is the foundation of your faith and the unending source of your hope. It declares to your anxieties, to your fears, and to the enemy himself that Jesus is Lord, and that my kingdom will have no end. After my Son rose from the grave and ascended to my right hand, I did not leave you to navigate this new life on your own. I did not give you a rule book and say, "Good luck." Can you imagine? I would never do that. I did not leave you as orphans. I gave you the greatest gift possible, myself. I sent my Holy Spirit to live not just with you, but inside the heart of every single one of my children. This is not some vague, mystical force. This is the third person of our Godhead, my very presence, taking up residence within you. He is your comforter. When your heart is breaking with sorrow, when grief is a physical weight upon you, he is there, wrapping my presence around you, weeping with you, and bringing a peace that goes beyond your circumstances. He is your counselor. When you are confused and don't know which way to turn, when you are paralyzed by a difficult decision, he is there to guide you into truth. He speaks in that gentle nudge, that quiet whisper in your spirit, that sudden clarity that cuts through the noise. Listen for him. He will show you the way. He is your advocate. When you feel unworthy to approach me, when your own heart condemns you, the Spirit is before me, interceding for you, speaking on your behalf, reminding me that you are covered by the blood of my Son. My Spirit is the one who convicts you of sin. Now, do not mistake this for the enemy's voice of shame. The enemy shames you. He tells you that you are a worthless failure. My Spirit convicts you with love. He puts his finger on a specific action or attitude and says, "My child, this is not who you are. This is beneath you. Let's walk in a better way." His conviction leads to repentance and freedom, not to despair. It is his job to remind you of everything Jesus taught, to keep my word alive and active in your heart. And he is the one who empowers you to live a life that is pleasing to me. On your own, you cannot produce the character I desire. You will grow weary and fail. But as you yield to my Spirit, as you walk in step with him, he produces his fruit in you naturally. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Do you see? These are not things you strive for. They are the evidence of His presence working within you. He is the seal of your inheritance, the guarantee that you belong to me forever. Think of it like a down payment on a house. It is the proof that the full inheritance is yours, kept safe for you. The Holy Spirit living in you is my promise, my personal guarantee that you are mine, and that one day I will bring you home. My child, this is a truth that I need you to fight to believe, because the world and the enemy will constantly try to steal it from you. The very moment you placed your faith in my Son, Jesus, your old identity was gone and died with Him on the cross. You are no longer defined by your past failures, your weaknesses, or the labels that you or others have placed on you. I know the names you call yourself in your darkest moments: failure, addict, unlovable, foolish, damaged goods. I declare to you today that these labels are lies. They have no power over you anymore. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. You are a new creation. Your primary, defining identity is this: you are my child. You are not a slave to sin, cowering in fear. You are not a distant subject, hoping to earn my favor. You have been adopted into my family. You are a son, a daughter, with the full rights of inheritance in my kingdom. You can call me Abba, Father, your daddy. You have a permanent place at my table. You are not a guest in my house. You belong here. You are not an inconvenience or a burden. You are my delight. When you truly grasp this, it will change everything about how you see yourself and how you approach me. You can come to me with confidence, not with fear, because you are my beloved child. Furthermore, in my sight, you are declared righteous. This does not mean you will never make a mistake again. It means that when I look at you, I no longer see your sin. I see the perfect righteousness of my Son, Jesus. You have been clothed in His perfection. Imagine being covered in mud and rags, and a king comes and takes off his own spotless, royal robe and places it over you. When anyone looks at you, all they see is the robe of the king. That is what I have done for you. Your record of sin hath been wiped clean, and you have been given His perfect record. This is why you never have to strive to be good enough for me. You already are, not because of what you've done, but because of what He has done for you and who you now are in Him. Finally, you must understand that you are a citizen of heaven. This world is not your permanent home. You are a stranger and a pilgrim passing through. This truth will protect your heart. It will keep you from placing all your hope in the temporary things of this world: your career, your finances, your possessions. These things are fleeting, but your true citizenship, your true home, is eternal and secure with me. Living with this identity changes your priorities. It gives you an eternal perspective. It frees you from the desperate need for this world's approval. You are mine. You are a child of the King. You are righteous in my sight. You are a citizen of heaven. This is your new name. This is your true identity. Live from it. Now you know who you are in me, a new creation, my own child. But this new identity is only powerful when you understand how to live from it. To leave this conversation now would be like being handed the keys to a kingdom, only to turn and walk back toward your old prison cell. My heart aches when my children choose to live as orphans when I have made them royalty. Continue and let me show you how to walk in your new reality. You are no longer an orphan or a slave. You are a child of the King, and this new identity is your inheritance. Because I have told you who you truly are, a desire is now rising in your heart to help others find their place in my family. This word you are hearing is a beacon of light in a dark world, and your support, is the holy oil that keeps it burning for lost souls to see their way home. My word declares to you now, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is your moment of prophetic alignment, your chance to sow from your royal identity. As you release your seed, I will command a supernatural harvest over your life and protect all that is yours. Become a channel for my glory now. Click Super Thanks, join the mission as a member, or use the PayPal link below. Let's talk about faith, because I know this is a source of confusion and even anxiety for you. The enemy wants you to believe that faith is a blind leap in the dark, an intellectual exercise, or some kind of intense feeling that you have to work up inside yourself. It is none of those things. True faith is not blind. It is a confident trust in what you know to be true about my character and my promises. It is looking at my track record of faithfulness throughout history and in your own life and choosing to believe me. It is a choice to rest the full weight of your life on me. Think of it this way. When you sit in a chair, you don't spend hours analyzing its molecular structure or testing its strength. You have a reasonable trust, based on its appearance and its purpose, that it will hold you. So you simply rest your entire weight on it. You trust it. That is what I am asking you to do with me. I am asking you to stop trying to hold yourself up, to stop relying on your own strength and understanding, and to simply rest the full weight of your life, your hopes, your fears, and your future on me. Faith is more than just agreeing with a set of facts. The enemy himself believes that I exist. He has no doubt about it. But he does not trust me. True faith is moving from believing that I exist to believing me. It is the surrender of your will to mine. It is saying, I trust your plan more than my own. I trust your timing more than my own. I trust your goodness even when my circumstances don't make sense. It is an active reliance on me and the details of your everyday life. You worry sometimes that your faith is not real because it doesn't always feel strong. But faith is not a feeling. It is a choice. And true faith will always be evidenced by its works. This doesn't mean you have to work for your salvation. It means that a life of surrendered trust will naturally produce a change in your behavior. A healthy apple tree does not have to strain to produce apples. It is the natural result of the life that is in it. In the same way, as you abide in me, your life will naturally begin to produce the fruit of obedience and love. It's the evidence of a transformed heart. Finally, understand that even faith itself is a gift from me. It is ignited in your heart by my Spirit as you hear my word. You don't have to create it from nothing. Your part is to hear me and to respond. Faith is the currency of my kingdom. It is what pleases me because it is the only response that truly honors who I am. It is how you receive the gifts I long to give you. And it is the anchor for your soul, holding you firm and secure in the storms of life. Your circumstances will rage and change, but my character and my promises never will. Faith is choosing to anchor yourself to me, your unshakable rock. My child, I want to strip away all the complexity and religious confusion you might feel about prayer. Let's throw out the idea that you need fancy, poetic words or a special formula to get my attention. Prayer is not a religious ritual. It is a direct and open conversation between you and me, your Father. I am more interested in the honesty of your heart than the eloquence of your words. I hear the cry you cannot articulate. I understand the groan of your spirit when you have no words left. Do not ever feel that you have to perform for me in prayer. I want you to come to me as you are. You do not need to clean yourself up first. Come to me with your praises, yes, but also come to me with your raw, unfiltered confessions. Tell me where you have fallen short. The enemy wants you to hide your shortcomings in shame. but I want you to bring them into my light so I can wash them away with my grace. Come to me with thanksgiving. Before you ask for anything, pause and thank me for what I have already done, for the breath in your lungs, for the love in your life. A grateful heart is an open heart. And then, my beloved, bring me everything. I mean everything. Cast all of your anxieties on me, because I care for you more deeply than you can imagine. That worry about your finances that knots your stomach and keeps you staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning. Hand it over to me. That frustration with your coworker or a family member that replays in your mind. Tell me all about it. That fear for your children's future, that ache in your body, that dream in your heart that feels impossible. I want to hear it all. Nothing is too small or too big for my attention. Carrying these burdens alone is a weight you were never created to bear. The purpose of prayer is to transfer that weight from your shoulders to mine. When you pray in the name of Jesus. I want you to understand what this means. It is not a magic phrase at the end of a prayer. It is your access card. It is an acknowledgement that the only reason you can approach my throne with such confidence is because of what He has done for you. You are not coming based on your own merit. You are coming based on His, and because of Him, the door to my throne room is always open to you. Finally, remember this crucial truth. Prayer is not a monologue. It is a dialogue. After you have poured out your heart to me, be still. Learn to listen. So much of your life is filled with noise, the television, your phone, the endless stream of your own anxious thoughts. You must intentionally create moments of quiet to hear my voice. I speak in the stillness. I will speak to you through my word, bringing a specific passage to your mind. I will speak to you through a gentle nudge in your spirit. I will speak to you through the wise and godly counsel of another believer. Do not do all the talking. Stop and listen for my response. This is how our relationship grows. This is how you learn to walk in step with me. My child, I have given you a powerful gift, and I want you to understand its value and how to use it. I am talking about the Bible. I know that at times it can feel like a daunting and ancient book, full of rules and stories that seem disconnected from your modern life. I urge you to change your perspective. Do not see it as just a book. See it as my living and active word to you. It is my personal letter to your heart. It is one of the primary ways I have chosen to speak to you, to guide you, and to reveal myself to you. The entire book, from the first page to the last, is the story of my redemption plan for you. Jesus is the hero of the story. The Old Testament points forward to His coming, and the New Testament reveals His life and explains the new reality you have because of Him. As you read it, ask my Spirit to open your eyes. I want you to find yourself in its pages. You are there in the Israelites, wandering in the desert, prone to forget my goodness, and needing my daily provision. You are there in David's triumphs and his devastating moral failures. You are there in Peter's bold declarations of faith and his moments of sinking doubt. You are there in the heart of the prodigal son, running back to the Father's embrace. These are not just stories about them. They are stories about us. They reveal my unchanging character and your deep need for me. Read my word to know who I am. Read it to understand my will and to discover the thousands of promises I have made to you. These promises are your inheritance. They are the weapons you use against the enemy's lies. When you feel alone, my word promises I will never leave you. When you feel weak, it promises that my grace is sufficient. When you are afraid, it promises that I have not given you a spirit of fear. You must know these promises to stand on them. My word is a lamp for your feet and a light for your path. What does that mean for you today? It means when you are in the dark, confused, and cannot see the way forward, my word is the flashlight that illuminates the very next step you need to take. It may not show you the whole journey at once, but it will always show you where to safely place your foot next. You must meditate on it. This doesn't mean some strange, mystical emptying of your mind. It means the opposite. It means filling your mind with my truth. It means taking a single verse and chewing on it throughout your day, thinking about it, asking what it means for your life, and letting it sink deep into your spirit. As you do this, it will begin to transform your mind. It will renew your spirit. It will replace your anxious and fearful thought patterns with my thoughts of peace and truth. It is the spiritual food your soul needs to be nourished and to grow strong. You would never try to live without physical food. Do not try to live this spiritual life without the nourishment of my living word. My child, you must wake up to this reality. Your life of faith is not a casual stroll through a peaceful meadow. You are in a battle. Your struggle is not primarily against the difficult people in your life or your challenging circumstances. Your true struggle is not against flesh and blood. There is a spiritual enemy, the devil, and his name means the accuser. His entire purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. He wants to steal your joy, kill your faith, and destroy your testimony. I am not telling you this to frighten you, but to prepare you. You cannot win a fight you do not know you are in. You need to recognize his weapons, because he uses them against you every day. His primary weapon is lies. He is the father of lies. He is the one who whispers in your ear, "You are not good enough. God is disappointed in you. Your sin is too big. You will never change. God has forgotten about you." His goal is to make you doubt my goodness and my love for you. His second weapon is accusations. He is the one who, right after you have confessed a sin and received my forgiveness, immediately brings it back to your mind, clothing you in shame and guilt all over again. He wants you to live in condemnation, not in the freedom I have purchased for you. His other weapons are temptation, making sin look more attractive and satisfying than I am, and fear, which paralyzes your heart and keeps you from stepping into the purpose I have for you. But hear me, beloved, I have not left you defenseless. I have given you the full armor of God, and I command you to put it on every day. The belt of truth is wrapping my unchanging word around you to expose the enemy's lies. The breastplate of righteousness is remembering that your right standing with me is based on what Christ has done, not your own performance. The shoes of the gospel of peace allow you to stand firm in the good news. The shield of faith is not an imaginary thing. It is your active choice to lift up my promises to extinguish the flaming arrows of doubt and fear the enemy shoots at you. The helmet of salvation protects your mind, reminding you of the security of your eternal destiny. And the sword of the Spirit is my word, your only offensive weapon, which you can use to speak truth against his lies, just as Jesus did in the wilderness. And most importantly, you must understand the source of your authority. It does not come from your own strength or willpower. Your authority comes from Jesus Christ, who has already won the decisive victory. On the cross, he disarmed the spiritual rulers and authorities and made a public spectacle of them. The battle you are in has already been won. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from a position of victory. So, stay alert. Recognize the enemy's schemes. Stand firm in your faith, which is rooted in the finished work of Christ. When he attacks you with lies and accusations, you are to resist him, and I promise you, he will flee from you. My child, let us talk about the hardest part of your journey, your pain. The suffering you endure, the trials that break your heart. I need you to listen to me with your whole spirit, because this is where the enemy works hardest to lie to you about my character. The first thing you must know is that I do not cause the evil that brings you pain. The world is broken by sin, and that brokenness results in sickness, loss, betrayal, and grief. But I am a Redeemer. This is the essence of who I am. My power is so great, my goodness so profound, that I can take the most broken, painful, evil things that happen to you and I can redeem them. I can weave them into a plan that is for your ultimate good and for my glory. Do not ever believe that your trials are a sign of my displeasure or that I have abandoned you. Often, the opposite is true. I allow trials in your life to deepen your faith and to draw you closer to me. I use suffering to prune you. Think of a gardener who loves his vine. He takes a sharp knife and cuts away the branches that are not producing fruit, and even cuts back the ones that are, so they will bear even more fruit in the next season. The cutting is painful. It feels like a loss. But the loving gardener knows it is necessary for a greater harvest. I am that gardener. I sometimes allow the painful cutting away of things in your life, your self-reliance, your pride, your dependence on things other than me, so that you will become more fruitful and more like Christ. It is in your weakness that my strength is made perfect. When you are strong, successful, and everything is going your way, it is easy to rely on yourself. But when you are at the end of your rope, when you are broken, when you have no strength left and you have nowhere else to turn but to me, that is when my strength shows up most powerfully in you and through you. Your dependence on me grows strongest not on the mountaintop, but in the darkest valley. I promise you that your suffering is never meaningless. It produces perseverance in you, the ability to endure. That perseverance develops your character, forging you into a person of substance and strength. And that character builds in you a hope that does not disappoint, because it is a hope anchored not in your circumstances, but in my unchanging character. And know this, my precious one, I am always with you in the fire. I am not a distant observer, watching you suffer from afar. I am down in the furnace with you, holding you. I will never, ever give you more than you can bear with my help. I will always provide a way through it. One day, you will see how I have taken the most painful chapters of your story and turned them into the most powerful parts of your testimony, bringing hope and healing to others. Trust me with your pain. I will not waste it. I have shown you the unseen battle and revealed the hidden purpose in your deepest pain. You think I have brought you this far only to leave you to fight alone. To stop listening now would be to accept the weapons for the war but reject the army I have provided for you. It grieves me deeply when my children choose to believe they must be orphans in this fight. Stay, and let me show you the family I have given you. My child, listen. You were never meant to live this life of faith on your own. You were not saved into isolation. You were adopted into a massive, messy, beautiful family. This family is my church. I know the word church can bring up complicated feelings for you. Perhaps you have been hurt by people in that church. Perhaps it seems boring or irrelevant. I want to shift your perspective. The church is not a building you go to on a Sunday. It is not an institution or a club. The church is my buddy on earth. It is my family of believers, called to love, support, and sharpen one another. You need them, and they need you. I know my family is imperfect. Why? Because it is filled with broken, healing people, just like you. There will be disagreements. People will let you down. But do not let the imperfections of my people cause you to forsake my plan for your life. To walk away from the church because it is messy is like a child running away from home because their siblings are annoying. You belong to this family. In this community, you find things that are essential for your survival and growth. You find accountability. You need brothers and sisters in your life who love you enough to ask you the hard questions, to call you out when you are straying, and to encourage you to keep going. You find encouragement. You need people who will be your cheerleaders, who will celebrate your victories with you, and who will sit with you and weep when your heart is broken. This journey is too hard to walk alone. This family is also the place where you have the opportunity to discover and use the unique spiritual gifts I have given you. I have given every one of my children gifts not for their own benefit, but to build up the entire family. Some have the gift of teaching, others of service, mercy, or leadership. Your gifts only find their true purpose when they are used in the context of the body. Think of it this way: a hand is a marvelous creation, but it cannot function on its own. It is useless apart from the arm, the eye, and the heart. You are a part of the body of Christ. You need the body, and the body desperately needs you and the unique gifts I have placed within you. I call you to bear one another's burdens. When you see a brother or sister struggling, you are to come alongside them and help carry their load. You are to rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. This is what it means to be a family. You must also learn to submit to one another in love, honoring the leaders I have placed in the church to guide and protect the flock. Together, you are my hands and feet in a world that is desperately searching for hope. You are meant to be a visible representation of my love. So find your place. Commit to a local body of my family. Invest your life there. Forgive them for their imperfections, and allow them to forgive you for yours. You belong together. My beloved, I need you to hear this, because the world is constantly shouting the opposite at you. You were created on purpose, for a purpose. You are not a random collection of cells. You are my workmanship, a masterpiece that I designed with a specific mission in mind. Before you took your first breath, I prepared good works for you to do, a unique path designed for your specific gifts, your personality, and your experiences. This is your calling. Now, I know what that word can do. It can fill you with pressure and confusion. You look at others, at pastors on stages or missionaries in foreign lands, and you think, that is not me. My life is small and ordinary. I have no great calling. Stop. Stop comparing your path to anyone else's. Comparison is a thief that will steal the joy of the unique mission I have given only to you. Your calling is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming the most authentic version of the person I created you to be, right where I have placed you. Your calling is to glorify me in every sphere of your life. It is not separate from your daily routine. It is infused within it. Your primary mission field might be your own home, the way you love your spouse with patience, the way you raise your children to know me. Your calling is found in the integrity you bring to your work, doing your job with excellence as if you were doing it for me, not just for a paycheck. It is in your community, the way you care for your neighbor, the encouragement you offer a struggling friend, the kindness you show to a stranger. Do not despise the smallness of your stage. I am the one who brings the increase. Your faithfulness in the ordinary moments of your life is an extraordinary act of worship in my eyes. To equip you for this mission, I have given you specific spiritual gifts. These are not trophies to display. They are tools to be used. You may have the gift of service, finding joy in meeting the practical needs of others. You may have the gift of mercy, able to sit with the hurting and offer my comfort. You may have the gift of teaching, able to explain my truth with clarity. You may have the gift of encouragement, breathing life and courage into those who are weary. Do not bury these gifts. Do not think they are insignificant. I have given them to you to build up my family, the church, and to be a blessing to the world. Your ultimate purpose in every season and every situation is simple: to know me and to make me known. That is the essence of your calling. In your joys, point others to me, the giver of all good gifts. In your pain, show others how I am your strength and your hope. Your very life is a message, a story I am writing for the world to read. Embrace your unique chapter. Walk the path I have laid before you with faithfulness. Stop striving to be someone you are not, and start embracing the person I have called you to be. That is where you will find your deepest fulfillment and make your greatest impact. My child, I see you. I see you trying so hard to get it right. You read my word and you see the commands, and at times it can feel overwhelming, like a heavy weight of rules you can never perfectly keep. I want to simplify everything for you right now. I want to lift that burden from your shoulders. All of my laws, all of the teachings of the prophets, every instruction I have ever given you can be summarized and fulfilled in two simple, beautiful commands. If you build your life on these two things, you will be walking in the center of my will. First, I want you to love me, your God, with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your mind. What does this truly mean? It means giving me first place in your life. To love me with your heart means to give me your affections, your trust, your deepest loyalties. It means finding your ultimate satisfaction in me, not in the fleeting pleasures of the world. To love me with your soul means to give me your very life, your will, your deepest sense of self. It is a daily surrender, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." To love me with your mind means to think about me, to study my word, to fill your thoughts with what is true, honorable, and pure. It is an active engagement, not a passive belief. It is choosing to set your mind on me. The second command flows directly from the first. It is this: love your neighbor as you love yourself. Your love for me is proven and made visible by your love for the people I have placed around you. This love is not an abstract feeling. It is a practical, daily choice. What does it look like? It looks like the patience you show the slow driver in front of you when you are in a hurry. It looks like the grace you give your spouse when they are irritable after a long day. It looks like listening to a friend's pain without immediately trying to fix it or talk about yourself. It is celebrating someone else's success without a hint of envy. It is meeting the practical needs of someone in your community. It is forgiving someone who has hurt you, even when they do not deserve it. This love, this active, sacrificial choice to seek the highest good for others, is the defining mark of my disciples. It is the family resemblance of my children. It is how a watching world will know that you belong to me. When you are faced with a decision, when you are unsure of what to do, bring it back to these two commands. Ask yourself, what is the most loving choice I can make right now? What choice best demonstrates my love for God and my love for the person in front of me? When you walk in this love, you are fulfilling the entire purpose for which you were made. Do not complicate it. Do not add to it. Simply love me with everything you are and let that love overflow to everyone you meet. This is the path to a life of true freedom and joy. My beloved, we need to have a serious talk about forgiveness, because holding on to unforgiveness is like a poison that is slowly killing your soul. I want you to be free. Right now, as I say this, I know a face, a name, a memory has come to your mind. The person who hurt you, the one who betrayed your trust, spoke lies about you, or wounded you deeply. I see the pain they cause. I was there. I felt it with you. I am not asking you to pretend it did not happen or to say that what they did was okay. It was not okay. But I am asking you, for the sake of your own freedom, to forgive. You must understand what forgiveness is and what it is not. Forgiveness is not a feeling. You may never feel like forgiving them. It is a choice. It is an act of your will, empowered by my spirit. It is a decision you make to release the other person from the debt they owe you. When someone wrongs you, they create a debt. You feel that they owe you an apology, restitution, or justice. Holding on to unforgiveness is you acting as their judge and jailer, keeping them imprisoned in the jail of your own heart. But the problem is, you are in that jail cell with them. You are the one who is truly trapped. Holding on to unforgiveness is like drinking a cup of poison and expecting the other person to die. The bitterness, the resentment, the anger, it eats away at your peace. It corrodes your joy, and it blocks your connection with me. You cannot be in open fellowship with me, the God of all grace, while you are actively refusing to extend grace to someone else. So how do you do it? How do you forgive when the pain is so real? You begin by remembering how much you have been forgiven. The debt that I forgave you was not small, it was infinite. You stood before me with a record of sin that was insurmountable, and through the cross of my Son, I looked at you and said, "Debt canceled, paid in full. I will not remember your sins against you anymore." When you truly grasp the immeasurable ocean of grace that has been poured out on you, it becomes possible to offer a cup of that same grace to someone who has wronged you. Forgiveness is you taking your hands off that person's throat and handing them over to me. You are releasing them from your judgment and placing them into the hands of the only righteous judge. You are saying, "I will no longer carry the burden of this bitterness. I release this person to you. You will deal with them justly and mercifully as you see fit." This choice breaks the chains of the past. It allows my healing to finally flow into the deep wounds of your heart. It may be a choice you have to make every single day for a while. Every time the memory comes back, you may have to say again, "Father, I choose to forgive. I release them to you, and I will give you the strength to do it." Choose freedom, my child. Choose forgiveness. My child, let's redefine what it means to worship me. I know that for many, the word worship is confined to what happens on a Sunday morning. It is the songs you sing, the music you play. I love to hear you sing praises to me. Your voice, raised in authentic adoration, is a beautiful sound to me. But your worship is so much more than that. It is far bigger, far deeper. The truest form of worship is the posture of your entire life. True worship is you presenting your body, your entire self, as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to me. What does this mean in your daily life? A sacrifice is something you give up, something you lay down on an altar. So, true worship is the daily act of surrendering your will, your plans, your desires, and your agenda to mine. It is waking up in the morning and saying, "Father, this day is not my own. It is yours. Use me as you will." It is getting out of bed to do the right thing when every part of your tired body wants to be lazy or selfish. It is offering your plans for the day to me and being willing to have them interrupted for my purposes. It is laying down your right to be right in an argument. It is sacrificing your comfort to serve someone else. You worship me in the most practical, down-to-earth moments. You worship me with the integrity you show at your job when no one is watching. You worship me with the honesty on your tax forms. You worship me with the purity you maintain in your thought life. You worship me with the kindness you show to the cashier at the grocery store who is having a bad day. You worship me when you choose gratitude instead of complaining about your circumstances. You worship me when you choose to trust me instead of giving in to anxiety. Every act of obedience, every choice to honor me in the small, unseen moments of your day is a profound act of worship. Worship is ultimately a declaration of my worth. The word worship is at its root. When you worship me, you are declaring that I am worthy. You are saying that I am more valuable to you than your comfort, your money, your time, your reputation, and your own plans. You are demonstrating with your life that I am your greatest treasure. So yes, sing to me with all your heart, but do not let your worship end when the music stops. Let your entire life be a psalm of praise to me. Let your hands, as they work, be instruments of worship. Let your feet, as they walk on the path I have set for you, be an act of worship. Let your words, as you speak truth and encouragement, be your worship. This is what pleases me. This is the worship I am seeking. Your whole life, completely and joyfully surrendered to me. You now understand what I desire from your life. A heart that loves, forgives, and worships me in all you do. But I know the fear and anxiety that rise up to choke out this life I offer. If you leave now, you will have the vision but not the power to overcome the inner turmoil that stands in your way. It would break my heart for you to have my commands but miss out on the deep peace that makes them possible. Do not turn back. Let me speak to the storms inside of you. Your worship is far more than a song. It is the joyful surrender of your entire life to me. Because I have told you this truth, your heart now yearns to make that worship tangible and visible. This is your chance to turn faith into action, to sow a seed that will carry this urgent message to my children still trapped in silence and despair. I am speaking this over you today. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously, for I love a cheerful giver. Your gift makes this river of my truth flow into the driest corners of the earth, bringing life to souls desperate for me. Do not let this moment of heartfelt surrender pass. As you place this offering on the altar, I will open the windows of heaven over your life. Release your worship offering now through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below. My beloved, we must address the fear and anxiety that wage war against your soul. I see it. I see that knot in your stomach, the racing in your heart, that endless loop of what-if questions that plays in your mind and steals your peace. I need you to hear this truth from me directly, that spirit of fear is not from me. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound, disciplined mind. The anxiety you feel comes from carrying burdens that you were never designed to carry. You are trying to be your own God, to control outcomes that are in my hands alone, and the weight of that impossibility is crushing you. I give you a command that is also a loving invitation. Cast all your anxieties on me. Do you know why? Because I care for you. I want you to make this a physical act in your mind. I want you to see yourself gathering up that specific worry, the one about your health, the one about your child's choices, the one about your job security, and I want you to consciously and deliberately place it into my strong, capable hands. I can carry it. You cannot. As long as you are holding on to it, you cannot know my peace. The moment you release it to me is the moment my peace can begin to flood your heart. You may have to do this 100 times a day. Every time you feel yourself taking that worry back, consciously give it to me again. So much of your anxiety lives in the future, in imagining scenarios that may never happen. I command you not to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will have its own troubles. Your focus must be on my presence with you today. My grace is sufficient for you today. I will give you the strength you need for this moment. When you live in the what-ifs of tomorrow, you forfeit the peace that is available to you right now. Stay here with me in this present moment. The ultimate antidote to fear is my perfect love. The more you understand, believe, and rest in my unconditional, unwavering love for you, the less room there is for fear to take root and rule your heart. Fear whispers that you are alone, but my love declares that I am always with you. Fear whispers that you will fail, but my love reminds you that my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Fear whispers that you are not safe, but my love assures you that you are hidden in the shadow of my wings. As you fill your heart and mind with the truth of my love for you, that love will begin to drive out the fear. The peace I give you is not like the peace the world gives. The world's peace is dependent on everything going right, on having no problems. My peace is different. It is a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that can guard your heart and your mind even when the storms of life are raging around you. It is not the absence of the storm. It is my presence with you in the middle of the storm. This is the peace that is available to you. Let go of your worries and take hold of my peace. My child, I want to fundamentally change the way you look at everything in your life. That money in your bank account, the car you drive, the house you live in, the skills and talents you possess, even the very hours in your day, you think of them as yours. I need you to release that idea. Everything you have received as a gift from me. You are not an owner of these things, you are a manager, a steward who has been entrusted with them for a season. This truth is not meant to be a burden, it is meant to set you free. The pressure of ownership is immense. You have to protect, maintain, and grow what you own. But the role of a manager is simply to be faithful with what the true owner has provided. I want you to challenge your thinking. The question is not, how much of my money should I give back to God? That question starts from the wrong premise, that it is your money to begin with. The real question, the one that will transform your heart, is this: how much of God's resources that He has entrusted to me should I keep for myself? Do you see the difference? It changes everything. It turns budgeting into an act of worship. It turns your generosity not into a loss, but into a joyful deployment of my capital for my purposes. This applies to everything. Your time. You have been given a set number of hours each day. Are you managing them for your own comfort and entertainment, or are you investing them in things of eternal value, in prayer, in serving others, in loving your family? Your talents, the ability you have to organize, to create, to listen, to lead, these are not your own accomplishments. They are gifts I have woven into your being. Are you using them to build your own little kingdom, or are you using them to build mine and to bless the people around you? What I am looking for is not the amount you manage, but your faithfulness in managing it. The person entrusted with 2 talents who is faithful is just as precious to me as the person entrusted with 5. I am looking at your heart. Are you clinging to these things with a closed fist, terrified of losing them? Or are you holding them with an open hand, ready to use them for my glory and willing to release them if I ask? This posture of stewardship frees you from the love of money, which is a root of all kinds of evil. It frees you from the envy of what others have, and it frees you from the anxiety of the stock market or the economy, because your ultimate security is in me, the owner of everything, not in the resources I have allowed you to manage for a time. One day, you will stand before me and give an account for how you managed all that I entrusted to you. I long to say to you, well done, my good and faithful steward. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. My child, look at the world around you. I see how your heart grows heavy when you watch the news. I see the anxiety that creeps in when you see the chaos, the division, the anger, and the darkness that seems to be spreading. You find yourself wondering, how much worse can it get? Where is this all going? I have not left you in the dark. I have told you to be watchful and ready, to discern the season you are in. In my word, I told you that in the last days, there would be times of great difficulty. You will see wars and hear rumors of wars, You will see famines and earthquakes. You will see a growing love of self, a love of money, and a rejection of the truth. You will see deception on a massive scale. When you see these things, I command you, do not be alarmed. Do not let your heart be consumed by panic or despair. These things must happen, but the end is still to come. Your hope is not in world leaders, political systems, or human progress. Your hope is in me and in the certainty of my plan. You must be wise and discerning. Be careful who and what you listen to. In these times, many false prophets and false teachers will arise. They will speak words that sound wise, that appeal to your desires, but they will subtly lead you away from the simple, pure truth of my word and the centrality of my Son, Jesus. Hold fast to the truth. Measure everything you hear against the unchanging standard of the Scriptures. My Spirit within you will help you to discern truth from error. Ask for wisdom, and I will give it to you generously. I want you to live with a sense of urgency, but not in a state of panic. The knowledge of these things is not meant to paralyze you with fear. It is meant to mobilize you with purpose. Knowing that the time is short should motivate you to love more deeply, to forgive more freely, and to share the good news of salvation with everyone you can. The gospel of my kingdom will be preached to the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. You are a part of that great mission. You have a role to play. Do not be distracted by endless speculation about dates and times. No one knows the day or the hour, not even the angels in heaven, but only me. Your job is not to build charts and timelines. Your job is to be faithful today. Live with an eternal perspective. See the people around you through my eyes, as souls who will spend eternity somewhere. Let this reality fuel your compassion and your boldness. The world may be groaning in chaos, but you can live with a deep and abiding peace, knowing that my plan is perfectly on course. I am still on the throne, and I am in complete control. My beloved, hold this truth close to your heart, for it is your blessed hope. My Son, Jesus, is coming back. The first time he came in humility, as a suffering servant, born in a manger, to die on a cross for your sins. But he is not coming back that way. He is returning not as a lamb to the slaughter, but as the conquering King of kings and Lord of lords. He will return in the clouds with power and great glory, and every eye will see him. There will be no doubt, no confusion. His return will be as visible and undeniable as lightning flashing from the east to the west. When he returns, he will gather his chosen ones, all who have placed their faith in him from the four corners of the earth. He will bring an end to this current age of sin, suffering, and death, and he will establish his righteous reign forever. This is not a fairy tale. This is not wishful thinking. This is the certain and unstoppable climax of all of human history, and it is the hope that should anchor your soul in the turbulent waters of this life. Knowing that this is your future changes how you live today. This blessed hope purifies you. It motivates you to live a godly life, to turn away from sin, because you do not want to be found ashamed at his coming. It keeps you from getting too attached to the temporary comforts and treasures of this world, because you know that your true treasure and your true home are with me. It gives you the strength to endure hardship and persecution, knowing that your present suffering cannot even be compared to the glory that will be revealed in you. I want you to live in a state of readiness. Imagine you are expecting the most important guest you could ever imagine, a beloved king who is also your dearest friend. You would not let your house be a mess. You would not be found sleeping or distracted with trivial things. You would be watching, waiting, with joyful expectation, your house clean and your lamps lit, ready to welcome him the moment he appears. This is how I want you to live your life. Live every day as if it could be the day of his return. This certain hope is the ultimate antidote to the despair you feel when you look at the brokenness of the world. The story is not over, and the villain does not win. The key is coming back to make all things right. You will finally and forever defeat sin, death, and the devil. You will wipe away every tear. You will bring perfect justice and perfect peace. This is where history is heading. So, lift up your head. Your redemption is drawing near. Live with joyful expectation, eagerly awaiting your King. My child, we must speak of what is to come after this life, for it is appointed for every person to die once, and after that to face judgment. This is a truth that your world tries to ignore, but it is an unavoidable reality. Everyone will stand before me to give an account for their lives. The thought of this can bring fear, so I want to bring clarity and peace to your heart about what this means for you. You must understand that there will be a great white throne of judgment, and my justice is perfect. But for you, my child, for all who have placed their faith in my Son, Jesus, the verdict has already been declared. Your case was tried at the cross. Your penalty was paid in full by his blood. When you stand before me, there will be no condemnation. The question of your eternal destiny will not be up for debate. You are secure in my hands. Your judgment is not a trial to determine your salvation, but rather a judgment of rewards. It is like a final performance review for a beloved and faithful servant, where I will examine the work you have done in my name. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every prayer of faith, and I will reward you for your faithfulness. But for those who have rejected my free gift of salvation, who have chosen to trust in their own goodness or to ignore me altogether, the judgment will be different. They will stand before me on the basis of their own works, and since no one can be perfect, their works will condemn them. Their names will not be found in the Lamb's book of life. The outcome will be eternal separation from me. I need you to understand what this means. Hell is not a place I created out of anger for people I delight in torturing. I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked. My heart's desire is for everyone to come to repentance and be saved. Hell is the final, logical, and tragic outcome of a life lived in rebellion against me. I am a source of all light, all of all joy, all goodness, all light. To be eternally separated from me is to be eternally separated from all of those things. It is the full and final experience of a life chosen apart from God. It is a reality of profound and eternal gravity, which is why the cross was necessary. My justice is perfect, and it must be satisfied. But my grace is sufficient for every single person who will receive it. The door of salvation is open to all, but it will not remain open forever. This is why you must live with urgency. This truth should break your heart for the people in your life who do not know me. It should compel you to share the good news of my grace with them, lovingly and boldly, so they too can stand before me on that day, not in terror, but in joy, clothed in the righteousness of my Son. I have shown you the end of the story, the certainty of my Son's return and the reality of the final judgment. The weight of eternity is now before you. To turn away now is to stand at the edge of paradise and refuse to look in. It would wound my spirit for you to understand the judgment but not fully grasp the infinite, glorious inheritance that I have secured for you as my child. Stay with me until the very end. The best is yet to come. My child, let your heart be filled with hope as you listen now. After the final judgment, the story does not end. It is truly just beginning. This world as you know it, stained by sin and groaning under the curse, will pass away, and I will make all things new. The former things, the pain and the sorrow of this life, will not be remembered or even come to mind. I will create a new heaven and a new earth, and it will be the home of righteousness. I want you to try and imagine this. This will not be a ghostly, ethereal existence in the clouds. It will be a real, physical, restored, and perfected creation, more solid, more vibrant, and more beautiful than anything you have ever seen. And the most wonderful part of it all is that I myself will dwell with you. The separation caused by sin will be gone forever. I will not be in a distant heaven. I will make my home with you. You will see me face to face. I will be your God, and you will be my people. The perfect, open fellowship of the Garden of Eden will be restored, but it will be even more glorious, because you will be there as my redeemed, glorified children. In this new creation, I will personally wipe away every tear from your eyes. Think about the specific tears you have cried in this life, tears of grief, tears of pain, tears of loneliness, tears of failure. Every single one will be remembered no more. There will be no more death, no more funerals, no more goodbyes, no more the ache of missing someone you love. There will be no more mourning or crying or pain. No more Habil, no more Sivith, no more Adian, no more Weedith. The curse that fell upon creation will be broken forever. Creation itself will be liberated from its bondage and will flourish in the way I always intended. This will be a restoration of the perfection of the garden, but infinitely better, because sin and the possibility of falling will be gone forever. You will have a new, glorified body that will never get sick or tire. Your mind will be free from anxiety and doubt. Your heart will be completely pure, capable of loving me and others with a perfect, selfless love. This is the happily ever after that your heart was created for. Every good thing you have experienced in this life, every beautiful sunset, every moment of pure joy, every taste of true love, is just a faint echo, a small foretaste, of the reality that awaits you. This is what you were made for. This is where you are heading. When you feel weary of the struggle in this life, when your heart aches with the brokenness of this world, I want you to lift your eyes and fix your hope on this reality. It is not a dream. It is a promise from me, and it is more real and more lasting than the world you see around you today. I have told you everything, and my final plea echoes in your spirit. Come home, and bring others with you. As you have heard my urgent call, your heart responds with a desire to be my hands and feet in this dying world. You can begin in this very moment. Your support sends forth this fire, this living manna from heaven, to souls starting for truth in every nation. My promise to you as you give is this: my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus. This is your divine appointment to immediately answer my call to share the good news. I will see your faithfulness, and I will multiply your provision beyond your understanding. Obey the stirring I have placed in your heart now. Give through super thanks. Become a member, or use the link in the description. My child, I have held nothing back from you. I have told you everything. Do not let the sound of my voice fade into the noise of your day. This moment is a holy threshold, and I am calling you to step across it with me. Make your declaration now, a stake in the ground for your soul, a testament for all of heaven to witness. Go to the space below and write with unwavering faith. You have told me everything, and I receive it all. Let this be the seal upon your heart that you have heard me, and from this day forward, nothing will ever be the same. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.